commercial break. Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
back here for heat races as we're about to get underway. This is the first group out on track. This is your 206 Supermasters set to go live here at Whiteland Raceway Parking, and how they finish in this heat race will determine where they start in the feature set to go later this morning, I should say, as we have the morning and afternoon sessions. Let's go down your starting order. On pole position, Travis Wilbur, who turned out a lap about 6/10 better than your P2 of William McLaughlin, the Top Kart USA, Mr. Top Kart himself, on the outside of row number 1. Tom Stevens in P3 with Joseph Stevens P4. Jason Ewers in the 5th spot, which Richard Lowe set to go in P6. I don't think Richard actually was able to turn a lap here in qualifying as we're coming down to the line here. Again, they go green going into turn 1 when they set the tram lines, and then it's down to the pole position to set the pace for the rest of the field. Let's see if we can't get a shot at turn 1. There it is. Is green flag in the air? Yes, it is. Green into turn number 1, and it looks like it's going to be Wilbur with the advantage. And it looks like as well McLaughlin got a little wide there, as he's going to go side by side for that second position, and now they're going to go almost 3 wide over into turn number 3. Let's see if we can't get a shot at turn 3. There it is, as they're going back and forth there for the 3rd spot. McLaughlin got crossed over. Now he's going to fall back into the 4th spot, and if I'm not mistaken, that should be Stevens, Joseph Stevens that is, up into the 2nd position with Tom Stevens in P number 3. Let's see if we can't get a shot of the leaders here coming up towards the inside hairpin. There is your leader. That is Travis Wilbur out in front. The rest of the field of McLaughlin and both Stevens falling from behind. So there's Wilbur turning lap number 1 in now. 5 minutes on the board. Again, 5 minutes plus 2 laps is, I believe, the distance here for, yes, 5 minutes plus 2 laps. Finals 9 minutes plus 2 laps, as we still have plenty of time for racing to go on. That is your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pack. So that's Tom Stevens in P2. Jason Ewers is in that 3rd position, and William McLaughlin, Top Kart USA, Mr. Top Kart himself, in P4. There is your leader, and there's a good showing of the gap so far. So it's Travis Wilbur way out in front. Then you get to the battle for 2nd with Stevens, Ewers, and McLaughlin. Let's see if we can't watch that battle for the 2nd position. There's your leader out in front of Travis Wilbur, kart number 6 privateer entry. Let's see if we can't look a little bit farther back to that 3-pack just back there on the right-hand side of the screen. There it is. That is the battle for 2nd right now. So that is Stevens, Ewers, and McLaughlin all duking it out for that 2nd position. Stevens in that front of the 3-pack. Jason Ewers in the middle of that 3-pack. And then just behind him is William McLaughlin in P4. As we're going to sit and watch this right now, McLaughlin was up in the mix there with the top 2. He was splitting Stevens and Ewers for a little while. And now he is just going to have to sit and wait for Jason Ewers to try to close back up to Tom Stevens running in that 2nd position now. There they go through the banking corner, and it looks like McLaughlin fell off just a little bit coming out of turn 3, as here comes Jason Ewers on the inside hairpin, trying to put the pressure on Tom Stevens in that 2nd spot. Up the hill they go to the inside hairpin, and it is still Stevens up in that front group. Ewers not too far back there in P2. As they're making their way up the final corner now. There they are, down the main straightaway. Still Stevens out front. Ewers P3, 2nd in that pack. McLaughlin in that 3rd position. Just watch me go back and forth as here comes Ewers. There was a pass off camera. Jason Ewers now up onto point there of that pack. He is up in the 2nd position, and Tom Stevens going to have to see if he can't sit in his toe and close the gap back up. Ewers, though, starting to pull out about a 2-kart length advantage right now over Stevens' 2nd position. Here comes William McLaughlin. He's closing up now onto your 3rd placement of Tom Stevens, about 2 kart lengths back. Into the inner hairpin they go, or the south side hairpin, I should say, as that's just off camera. There they are now coming to the inner hairpin. So Ewers out in front of that 3-pack. Then Stevens in P3, P2 in that pack, and then McLaughlin P4, P3 in that pack as they go across the start-finish straight. Put another lap in the books, about 1 minute and 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go here as they make their way down into turn 1. Again, that is the battle you're watching for the 2nd position, and it looks like McLaughlin slowly starting to close up now on your 3rd placement of Tom Stevens, going over into turn 3. That's just off the camera, the right-hand side. Maybe we can get a shot of it going down the back straightaway as Ewers trying to pull out a lead over those two. That is your leader in total. That is Travis Wilbur. He has had a very quiet heat race so far, sitting about 5.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. He has had a picture-perfect race from the start. He was able to get out in front, able to let the second pack kind of battle themselves out, and he is continuing on with the lead. Very strong lead so far. Again, he's got about a minute to go plus 2 laps, and here's the battle for third. This is to see who is going to start on the inside of row number 2, I should say, as they are now making their way into turn number 1. There's your leader of Travis Wilbur out in front. There is a battle for the third position, and it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that's McLaughlin up into P3, Count Stevens back into 4th. Down that back straightaway they go, heading towards the Daytona corner as Stevens is sitting in the toe of McLaughlin. McLaughlin just needs to pull out about a 4 or 5 car length advantage over Stevens to break away from that toe in total. There's your leader now of Travis Wilbur. Into the inner hairpin he goes, and about 37 seconds remain. So it should be 2 laps to go next time by, 3 laps in total. There's Jason Ewers out in the second position, and I'm curious if he's closed down that gap a little bit. It was up to about a 5.5. Now it's into 5.3. He was able to go 5/100ths faster than Wilbur out in front, so he does have a faster car. I just think he got caught up in that battle for that second position and kind of plateaued his times, but he is turning faster lap times than Travis Wilbur out in front. He has pulled out a sizable gap over McLaughlin and Stevens, roughly about 4 or 5 kart lengths so far as they go through the crossover into the Daytona corner, out of Daytona and towards the south side hairpin. Jason Ewers set in P2. There's your leader of Travis Wilbur out in front. Kart number 6, privateer entry here for your 206 Super Masters. Up through the final 2 corners he goes. For 2 laps to go, should be presented this time by, and it is. 2 laps to go, shown by our flagman Adam Burrows. There's Jason Ewers. Let's see the time. This might be a good indication of what's going to come here later on in the heat race, and he actually runs about the same time as Jason Ewers. Fastest car at that last lap was William McLaughlin. He went roughly about 1/10 faster than both Ewers and Wilbur. Now, granted, this is just over that 1 lap. This isn't the fast time in total. That goes to Travis Wilbur, that 48.612. Lap times now are about 48.7 lows. So I think if these 3 going into the feature later this afternoon, if they are able to kind of break themselves away from the rest of the field, we could see a close 3-kart battle for the lead. Wilbur makes his way up the hill now, looking for the white flag that time by. There he went on the right-hand side of your screen as he then is shown the white flag this time by. Right now you're looking at Richard Lowe. That is a kart number 2, the new gen entry. Again, I don't think he was able to make it out for qualifying, as we only had 5 karts out there for qualifying session. Started at dead in Charlie in P6, and now running up in the 5th position this time across the line. He will also see the white flag. Let's see if we can't get a look at kart number 6, Travis Wilbur, who is currently going through the crossover now over into Daytona corner as he is about to get the checkered flag. Again, your leader, Travis Wilbur, going into the south side hairpin now, up the hill towards the inside hairpin, as there's a good shot of the start-finish straightaway. Should be able to see him in a moment as he is on the right-hand side of your screen, making his way through the inside hairpin, up the hill, and there he is. That is going to be Travis Wilbur, your heat race winner here for 206 Super Masters. He'll punch his ticket to start on pole position for the feature this afternoon. Jason Ewers comes across in P2, McLaughlin in P3, and Tom Stevens comes across in P4. That is Richard Lowe, who is in the 5th spot, so he'll start in P5 on the inside of row number 3. And just behind him, Joseph Stevens comes across the line to see the checkered flag. So that'll do it. All 6 karts across the line to see the checkered flag. 206 Master Heat Race done and dusted. Up next is your micros. Your micros will be on track next, followed by your minis. There's a good shot of the rest of the field making their way towards a grid area. So stay tuned as we still have more heat races coming to you live here on Kart Chaser at Whiteland Raceway Park.
Yeah. Right, but they can't hear you. So just, if you need anything, text Lily. But other than that, like, yeah, sorry. It's just for someone else.
And welcome back as we are going heat racing here with your mini Swifts. A little bit of drama that happened coming out of the pits. Kart number 22 spun it in the inside hairpin. Now he is trying to close up the rest of the field. That is your leaders all stopped now, and I believe he will catch back up. Sorry, that's Kart number 27. We're going to name for you guys here in a moment. Is this going to be the first time he crosses the stripe? Now, Tony Kart entry, Kart number 27 of Miles Wilson, able to catch back up to the rest of the field. Your pole sitter, Reagan Hodges, sets on P1. Lent Smolyak sits in P2. Patrick McKinley in the third position. We're actually going to send him around the old school layout here at Whiteland Raceway Park. We're going to send him one more time around to get themselves bunched back up. Again, that's Reagan Hodges, Kart number 33, is going to start on pole position. Lent Smolyak sits on the outside of row number 1. Patrick McKinley sits inside of row number 2 in the third spot. Miles Wilson set to start in P4. So we've got them all slowed down now as they're bunched back up. 2 by 2, again, 4 karts set to take the green here this afternoon for the 5 minutes plus 2 laps heat race. Up the hill they go, out of that final corner. They still got a long way to go to get the green. They have to go all the way through the dog leg, out of the exit of Old Turn 1 here on the old school layout, and then fall into the tram lines going towards the start line here into turn number 1. Let's see if we can't get a good shot. There it is. Green flag is out, and it looks like Reagan's going to get a lead here. And oh, how about that for car number 27, Miles Wilson. Got a good jump there on the inside, went straight up into P2. Now count Lent Smolyak back in the third position. Patrick McKinley into P4 for lap number 1. Actually, not even a full lap number 1, as they are now going towards that back straightaway towards the Katona corner. And it looks like Miles Wilson is going to be under fire from Lent Smolyak. He was starting to put the pressure on to Miles for that second position. At a south side hairpin they go. Still nose to tail is second, third, and fourth. And how about that for an early lead? Reagan Hodges out in front and a huge lead over the rest of the field. About 8 kart lengths coming towards the stripe now. We're going to see the exact time when they make their way across the line. There goes Reagan, taking lap number 1 in an early lead. 2 seconds ahead of Miles Wilson in that second spot. Lent Smolyak in P3, Patrick McKinley in 4th, and that is your second, third, and 4th. That is going to be the closest battle on the field. Let's see if we can't watch that one through to see if there's any changes through the rest of the field. Again, Reagan Hodges, I don't want to discredit her at all. She is way out in front, done a fantastic job. Good jump over the rest of the field, but the closest battle is probably going to be for that now third and fourth position on track in this 4-kart field. There goes your second place from the Miles Wilson. There's Reagan going through the south side hairpin. There's the rest of the field over on the left-hand side of your screen. There goes your second place from Miles Wilson, trying to see if he can't check himself out right from the field. There's Reagan Hodges, your leader out in front. Let's see if we can't watch that battle for the second position as Reagan comes across to lap number 2. There it is, starting to spread out just a little bit. Miles Wilson in the front of that pack, Lent Smolyak in the front of that pack in P2. Miles Wilson in P3 right there in the middle. And right behind Miles Wilson is Patrick McNeely in P number 4. They're going to go side by side, or attempted, I should say, through turns 2. Now heading over to 3 now, as they are all over each other's back bumpers, heading in to turn number 3. There's your leader, Reagan Hodges, going by on the right-hand side of your screen. There goes Lent Smolyak in P2. And last time by, let's look at the time here. Reagan Hodges went a 48.173. That was a purple time so far. Lent Smolyak went a 49.180. So Reagan Hodges got a 3.3 second lead over Smolyak. Even if Lent decided to start doing about 1 or 2 tenths better than Reagan out in front, still not as long of a way to go, so she would be able to hold on to that position. Right now, Lent was able to do a 619. So about a second off from Reagan Hodges' time last time of 47.592. That is a battle for the third spot. That is Patrick McNeely in P3 with Miles Wilson, that Tony Kart in P4. And just off on the left-hand side of your screen, go through the crossover now, is your second placement of Lent Smolyak into that second spot. There goes third and fourth of McNeely and Wilson. And right now, it is all the Reagan Hodges show out front. Fastest kart on the track, almost a 4.5-second gap. Roughly 4.3 so far. Up through the final 2 quarters goes Reagan to burn one more lap. She makes her way across the line and see the time, 47.8. So she slowed down by about 2 tenths. Not a huge drop, and still about a tenth faster than last lap. And Lent Smolyak, your second placement, 4.4 seconds is now the gap from first to second. Patrick McNeely still plateaued there in that third position, able to get around Miles Wilson and slowly opening up a gap over Wilson. That last time, though, took a little bit of a hit, 49.5 for Patrick McNeely, Miles Wilson 49.1. So 4/10 better was Patrick McNeely in P4 than your third placeman, was Miles Wilson over Patrick McNeely, your third placeman. As we're coming up now with about 1 minute and 30 plus 2 laps to go. Reagan Hodges still out in front. That is Kart 40 of Lent Smolyak in P2. Last time by, he was still about a tenth slower than your leader of Reagan Hodges out in front. There goes Reagan on the right-hand side of your screen. Here comes Lent. That shows you the gap that we have between 1 and 2 so far. Last time by, Lent 48.2. Reagan Hodges went purple. 47.4, 5.2 second advantage goes to Reagan Hodges out in front. And I believe all she has to do is basically take a knee, wait the clock out. 44 seconds plus 2 laps still to go. So she can honestly slow it down by a tenth or 2 per lap if she wanted to, save equipment, save tires, and she would still come home starting on pole position for the feature later this afternoon. On the right-hand side of your screen in that green helmet with Lent Smolyak, again, running about 8/10 slower that last lap from your leader Reagan Hodges out in front, as there is Lent right now, and I believe that is a privateer entry, if I'm not mistaken, that Kart 40. Patrick McNeely in P3 and P4 Miles Wilson. I believe Wilson may be an AMAX entry on that Tony Kart. Don't quote me on that one. That's just I think that may be the case there for Miles Wilson in P4. Let's look at the times again. 47.4 for Hodgson's out in front. Still about 2/10 better than Lent Smolyak's last time, which was his best time of 47.6 in P2. Patrick McNeely, P3 with a 48.9. Miles Wilson, 48.7. So 2/10 better for Miles Wilson over Patrick McNeely in that third spot. Again, that is a battle to see who is going to start on the inside of row number 2 in the feature later to come here this afternoon. Time has expired, and we are going to be 2 laps to go this time by for Reagan Hodges out in front. So about 2 more miles is all she has to do to take the checkered flag and start in pole position for the feature later this afternoon. There goes Lent Smolyak in P2. Last time by, he won a 47.7. Reagan Hodges won a 47.5, and she is now 5.6 seconds cleared over the rest of the field. That is your second placement still of Lent Smolyak in the second spot. And just behind him, or a little bit off the distance, is the battle between Patrick McNeely and Miles Wilson. Reagan Hodges, though, making her way into the south side hairpin. She's going to get the white flag this time by. She's about to be in the field of view on the left-hand side of the screen. There she is. You can see the top of her red, orange, and black helmet as she goes into the inside hairpin. Let's see if we can't get a shot of her coming across the stripe here to see the white flag. There she is, the right-hand side of your screen. White flag in air. That is your second placement of Lent Smolyak in that green helmet. There goes Reagan. Just on the right-hand side of your screen, that was Lent Smolyak there in P2. There's Reagan. She's got about a half a lap to go in order to start on pole position for the feature. She's got one more time around before she receives that checker flag. There's Lent Smolyak, your second placement, going over into P number 3, down towards the back straightaway now. There's a good shot of Reagan going towards the Daytona corner. There's a good shot of the gap there between 3 and 4 of Patrick McNeely and Miles Wilson in the 3rd and 4th position. I don't think anything's going to change in that battle for P3 there, as it looks like Miles Wilson still has a little bit of time to make up before he has a chance at trying to make a move on Patrick McNeely for 3rd. Down, up towards the final 2 corners to receive the checkered flag. Reagan Hodges will take the win for a heat race, and she will start on pole position for the feature. Lent Smolyak makes his way towards the top of the hill. He will get the checkered flag and start the outside of row number 1. Patrick McNeely and Miles Wilson are the next 2 to come to the line. They will start in 3rd and 4th respectively here for the heat race, as this is the finish for the Micro Swift heat. Up next, we got your minis set to go live here for their heat race. So stay tuned as we got that coming to you soon.
My brother Earl is Stephanie. Yes, it's a third. So it's all.
you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
And here we go, set to start your mini heat race. Bentley McCain and Dalton Sears on your front row. That is Bentley McCain in kart number 11 on the MPG Kart Republic in the pole position. Kart 324, Dalton Sears outside of row number 1, start in P2. And then third and fourth on that second row on the inside is that's Dominic Gaddis in the 714. Titus Roberts starts at P4 on the outside in kart number 19 on that new gen entry. Will Fischinger in P5 on the inside of row number 3 with Casey Hendrickson on the outside of the AMAX entry. Car number 2 starts in P6. Coming down towards the line now, there's your flagman on the left-hand side of your screen. Green flag out. Let's see it into turn number 1. Good start from Bentley McCain to car number 11 as he will take that lead going into turn number 2. And the rest of the field starting to fan out. Great start there for Will Fischinger, and that who started in the 5th position, made his way up, and I believe is now inside the top 4 now, maybe 5, as it looked like Titus Roberts not able to get the traction that he wanted. He fell back into P5, being caboosed right now by Casey Henderson heading over into the Daytona corner. Down towards the south side hairpin, here are the 2 teammates going back and forth. That is your leader, Bentley McCain, on the MPG Kart Republic entry. Out in front, P2, Dalton Sears on the 324. Again, another MPG Kart Republic entry. And just behind him, it's another MPG in P number 3. I believe that is going to be Will Fischinger, who started in the 5th spot. He went up 2 positions, go to P3. Dalton Sears in P4, another MPG Kart Republic entry, holding off kart 19 of Titus Roberts. On that, I believe he is actually on the top cart. I do mistake. He is on the top cart USA entry in P number 4. So top 4 lockout right now. The front 2 rows is all MPG Kart Republic heading over through the crossover and now into Daytona corner. And the 2 teammates out in front putting on a good show. There's a pass or attempt to pass the lead for P1. Down onto the inside. Dominic Gaddis trying to see if he can't put his elbows out and inherit the lead. Not quite there yet, but that is now going to open up the door and allow Fischinger to close up just a little bit here. Top 3, nose to tail-ish, down towards the start-finish straight. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go, plus 2 laps into turn number 1. Through turn 1 they go. Looks like McCain went a little wide there on the apex to the exit, as he is now going to get reeled in by his teammate Dominic Gaddis in P2 in that cue ball helmet. Again, that is kart 714. All 3 are MPG Kart Republic entries. As now here comes Gaddis. Does he have a move into the crossover? No, but he is right there on the back door. Does he try to make a move in this outside hairpin? McCain knew it was coming. He tried to defend it. He's going to hold off for now, but the top 3 teammates nose to tail up the hill. Towards the inner hairpin, does he open up the door for Gaddis to make a move? No, they're going to stay nose to tail up the hill for the final 2 corners. Down towards the start-finish straightaway they go. Just under 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go now. Towards turn 1. No moves made there. Looks like no one quite going on the defensive just yet. McCain came down just a little bit to defend the line, but nothing too aggressive here. It is bunching up the top 3. And Dalton Sears in that 4th spot, kart 324 on that MPG Kart Republic. He's close, but not close enough to make a move. He's got a good gap between himself and Titus Roberts for 5th, but let's see if we can't watch the battle for the lead. McCain went on the defensive coming out of the Daytona corner. What about mid parts of the track to hold off his teammates of Gaddis there in P2, followed by Fischinger in the 3rd spot. Into the inner hairpin and up the hill. All 3 roughly nose to tail towards the start-finish straight. Just in the field of view now is Dalton Sears in that 4th spot, as it is an army of red and white heading into turn number 1. down to the inside line. McCain defended through turn 1. Going to bunch him back up over to turn 2. As let's see if we can't get a shot of the top 3 as they're battling back and forth. There's a good shot of 4th, 5th, and 6th. There goes the top 3 on the left-hand side of your screen. Battle for the lead right now. Gaddis, it's only a matter of time before he tries to make his move on McCain. Does he make it now? Coming to the south side hairpin. Out of the bank corner they go into the south side hairpin. And it looks like, no, he did not at least complete a move. He tried to attempt it as he's staying in the back bumper of McCain coming up towards the inside hairpin now. Still nose to tail, go to the top 2. Fishtinger still in the field of view, about a half a kart length down on Gaddis there in the 2nd position. Across the stripe they go, 1 minute and 10 seconds plus 2 laps across the stripe. Been doing about 45-second laps, so about 4 laps to go in total for this heat racing, and this is the battle to see who's going to start on pole position. There's a shot there of Dalton Sears in the 4th spot, followed by P5 and Titus Roberts and Kason Hendrickson. And there go your top 3 on the left-hand side of your screen. And we've seen it time and time again. Gaddis gets a run out of turn 3, but just doesn't have enough to get it done on the exit Daytona. Goes straight to the back bumper. Does he give him the boot? No. Gave a little bit of extra momentum, but not enough to upset the kart at all. But he is right here. Does he make a move now? He's got a good opportunity for it. He stays in tow right behind his teammate of McCain up the hill. And Fishtinger looks like to be falling off just a little bit from the top 2 down towards turn 1. McCain setting the pace. Does he go in the defensive? A little bit, but not anything too aggressive. Gaddis there in that 2nd position, staying right in tow. He's keeping McCain in check right now. If he's saying, hey, if you make a mistake, I'm right here to capitalize off and make a move. He's close now. Does he have enough to pull out and go side by side in the crossover? Not quite. Right on the back bumper. We've seen it lap after lap. Does he try it now? They come out of Daytona a little loose. Was your leader McCain down towards the south side hairpin, and here comes Fischinger. He's now trying to make a move on Gaddis. He's saying, you know what? I've watched you try it. Let me see if I have a chance at it. On the defensive goes McCain over into the final 2 corners and up the hill. 10 seconds to go. Time will expire. 2 laps remain here for your top 3 into turn number 1. McCain, does he go on the defensive? Yes, he does. Middle parts of the track, trying to hold off Gallus and Fischinger. Out the exit of turn number 1, over into 2. Top 3 still nose to tail. Here comes Gaddis. He's got that run again. It's a beautiful run out of turn 3, lap after lap, and it looks like it's not as good of a run as he's had before. Might be able to pull a little bit more going into the Daytona corner though, as he's in the tow. Goes straight to the back bumper. Does he plateau here? He tries it. Looks like McCain does not defend into the south side hairpin. He's going to stay right there on point. Here comes Gaddis. He's got an opportunity here on the south side hairpin. He's on the back bumper. Doesn't try here. Fischinger tried to get his nose in it for the 2nd spot. He did not complete as they make their way up towards the hill. White flag in the air. 1 more to go for McCain. He goes straight to the defensive line. Gaddis takes the normal racing line. Fischinger trying to put his elbows out and take over that 2nd spot. He opens up for a good exit here on turn 2. A little bit of contact there from the top 2. And now here comes Fischinger into turn 3. He inherits 2nd. Crossover move from Gaddis possibly. And yes, Gaddis takes a 2nd spot back. And I think that is going to be a godsend here for Bentley McCain. I don't think he's going to be challenged going into the south side hairpin. No, he is not. He holds on to it. 1 more opportunity for both Gaddis and Fischinger to make up 1 more position. Here comes Dalton Sears in 4th. He's not going to be close enough. And it looks like McCain is going to hold off the charge from his teammates and see the checkered flag. Bentley McCain to start on pole position for the feature this afternoon. So Bentley McCain comes across in P1, Gaddis in P2, Will Fischinger in P3, and Dalton Sears in P4, making it a top 2 lockout for the MPG Kart Republics here in the front 2 rows. Titus Roberts comes across in P3, and Kason Hendrickson will finish in the 4th spot. So that'll do it for your mini Swifts. Up next, we're going to go 4-cycle racing, 206 heavy, set to go green here when these guys come in. So stay tuned as we got more heat races coming to you live.
That's where I got that phone.
Go by and everything. Right. Just zoom by quite a bit.
And we are about to go green with your 206 senior heavy. Your top two, Evan McCorkadale on the inside of row number one. Matt Geist on the outside is your top two. Then you go back to Brian Williams starting in P3, Troy Toney in P4, and Kyler Nicholson P5, Adam Dietz P6, Kyler Marrer in P7, and Brandon Lorick in the P8. That rounds out your field. Green flag now out into turn number one, and it looks like McCorkadale get a little bit of a push there from Adam Dietz. That is now going to be your top two. Dietz up into P2, McCorkadale out in front, and Matt Geist in P3. And I'm going to predict here a 3-car breakaway out in front. The rest of the field still in tow. Looks like Brian Williams actually fell back a position into, actually no, he is not going to be leading. No, fall back behind Troy Toney. So Troy Toney leading that second pack, and P number 4, Williams P5, and then Nicholson in the 6th position with the rest in tow. There's your top three, and probably going to be the closest battle we see time and time again. These top three go back and forth. They play very patiently here. They will wait until the last moments before they try to make the move. Actually, I'm mistaken. That is Troy Toney up in the 2nd spot, and that is actually Adam Dietz leading in that 4th pack. So Troy Toney right behind McCorkadale with Matt Geist behind him. So that is your top three we're going to focus on here, as that's probably going to be the closest battles we see. And there is a possibility that Adam Dietz and Williams, if they work together and tow with each other, might be able to work themselves up towards the battle for the top three, but they're going to have to get in line now, as they're looking at under 4 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Their time is going to go by quickly, especially here in the 206 class. They usually don't get as many laps that we see in the 2-cycle group, but we're going to watch the top three as they make their way towards the Southside hairpin. Something we haven't seen a lot. Matt Geist in the 3rd position, not leading the pack. He isn't quite pushing on the back bumper of Troy Toney, but Troy Toney working that back bumper. McCorkadale up the hill. Top three still relatively nose to tail. Let's look at the gap from the battle between 3rd to the battle for 4th. That is Adam Dietz and Brian Williams running nose to tail. Last time by, looked like they were just off the pace of the top three. Matt Geist went purple with the 48.512. So it looks like that second pack might be losing a little bit of time. If they can settle in here and push each other all the way around, they might be able to close it back up. Meanwhile, in the top three, Troy Toney in the 2nd spot on the back bumper. McCorkadale going through Daytona Corner, as he has got that new gen Haas chassis hooked up and set to go here, battling out for the pole position. Here comes Matt Geist. Got a good run out of that Southside hairpin. Up the hill they go, as has McCorkadale still leading the pack with Troy Tony right there in the second spot. Matt Geist, P3 up the hill. We're gonna put one more lap in the books in another minute. 3 minutes plus 2 laps set to go here for your heat race for 206 senior heavy. Down into turn number 1, there is your leader, and then that is second and third. McCorkadale, Tony, Geist, 1, 2, 3. And I'll tell you what, Troy Tony, he has been back and forth between pushing on the back bumper of McCorkadale out in front and then getting a little bit of assistance from Matt Geist in P3. Caboosing that front train right now as they make their way over into Daytona. Still nose to tail, and now a little bit of a gap starting to form. McCorkadale about 2 car length advantage over Troy Tony in P2. Although I say that, out of the south side hairpin, Troy Tony closing up to the back bumper of McCorkadale now. To the inside hairpin, still bumper to bumper. Relatively speaking, Troy Tony about a quarter of a car length down from your leader up the hill. Let's look at the gap between Matt Geist in third and Adam Dietz in fourth, who's getting assistance from Brian Williams. Matt Geist last time by went a 48.2. Brian Williams, who is now up into P4, went a 48.5. They're roughly about 3.1 seconds back from the top 3. And what some like to call the accordion effect has come into play here, where the top 3 will spread out and they'll close back up. They'll spread back out again, which they're doing now, as Geist was right there on the back bumper. Troy Tony going to turn 3, falling back just a little bit. Didn't get as good of a run as he still cabooses the top 3. Troy Tony got a good toe going down the back straightaway out of Daytona corner, and here they go. They bunch back up again. Nose to tail-ish coming into the inner hairpin. No one close enough to make a move. Matt Geist a little bit closer to Troy Tony than Tony is to McCorkadale. Up the hill to see a minute and 15 seconds remain plus 2 laps. So roughly about 2 more to go until we see the 2 to go. There's a good shot at your third and fourth and fifth placeman. Brian Williams starting to pull away from Adam Dietz there in that 5th position. Williams last time by about 4/10 off the pace of Matt Geist in P3. So he's getting a good gap there for that 4th position, but it looks like he maybe has a breathing room, so to speak, between himself and Adam Dietz there in 4th. Geist on the back bumper in P3 of Troy Tony up in P2 as they go over through the crossover, now through the Daytona corner, heading towards the south side hairpin. Evan McCorkadale, a privateer on a Burrell Art. P1, P2, Troy Tony, new gen Haas chassis entry in P2. P3, I believe Matt Geist is another privateer running on an EOS chassis. So 3 different chassis manufacturers, 2 privateers, 1 on a team, heading down towards turn 1. 10 seconds to go, they cross the stripe. They're going to get 2 laps to go this next time by. 3 laps to go in total as your top 3, trying to see who's going to start on pole position. McCorkadale has led from the start, and I don't think that's going to change here just yet, as right now Troy Tony has Geist on his back bumper. Out of turn 3, Geist working the toe of Troy Tony. He's not close enough to give him a push to catch back up to McCorkadale. Through the crossover they go. Matt Geist still gets a good run on the exit of Daytona, heading over towards the south side hairpin. Not quite nose to tail, but Geist is just there. He might be able to pull a last-minute move out of the top hat if he wanted to. He's probably going to wait until he sees double sticks up in the air. Troy Tony closes the gap back up. He was down by about 2 kart lengths, down to about 1 across the stripe. 2 laps to go here for your 206 senior heavies. Going over towards turn number 1 now. No one close enough to make a move, and it looks like no one defended their line there into turn 1. Sweeping over to turn 2. Everyone taking the racing line. They're sweeping back up the track to arc it over into turn 2. Turn 3. Both Troy Tony and Matt Geist give better runs than McCorkadale. And we'll see it now. Troy Tony, he's in the toe. He got a better run. Now he's on the back bumper. Here comes Matt Geist in third. They're nose to tail bunched up. Out of Daytona to the south side. McCorkadale doesn't defend. Troy Tony doesn't make a move. Out of the south side they go, up the hill towards the inner hairpin. Troy Tony's on the back bumper. Does he make a move here? No. McCorkadale defended the line just a little bit, and that's going to keep him bunched back up. White flag in the air, and 1 more time to go for the heat race. McCorkadale giving a little bit of the top of the hat to Troy Tony, saying, all right, let's do this, it's on. Towards turn 1, no one defends, no one makes a move. Out of turn 1, sweeping up to turn 3. Troy Tony went a little bit lower, thought about trying to make a move, sweeps it farther out wide. He's going to get a better run here, I think, into turn 3 as here comes Matt Geist. He's on the back bumper. Does he try it going into the crossover? Looks like no. Still bunched up, nose to tail. Look for McCorkadale to defend here coming into the south side hairpin. Up towards the normal racing line. No one defends. Anyone make a move? No. McCorkadale gets a little loose. Here comes Troy Tony for the crossover. He's looking up the hill. Does he try to this last-ditch effort in the inner hairpin? No. I think he's going to hold on to it. Evan McCorkadale, he comes up to the final 2 corners. He will start on pole position here for the feature. Troy Tony comes across in P2. Matt Geisen, P3. Brian Williams comes home and set the top 5 in P4. Adam Dietz, P5. Taylor Nicholson in P6. Carl Maurer in P7. And Brandon Lawrence finishing in P8. So that'll do it for your 206 senior heavies. Up next is your KA100 juniors. They're going to do their 5 minutes plus 2 lap beat race. And after that, we'll think of our biggest class in the morning, your 206 light. And here we go for your KA100 juniors. Your top 2 on the front row. Landon Brewer on pole position. Van Dyke, Kart 79 Privateer on the outside of row number 1 in P2. Green flag in air down towards turn number 1. And how do they stack up? It looks like they're still door-to-door on the exit. And it is going to be Landon Brewer out in front. Van Dyke holds on to P2, and the rest of the field bunching up behind as it looks like Mason Gallia in the Kart 64 top cart trying to see if he couldn't get his elbows out there, heading over towards the back straightaway now. Through the crossover they go through Daytona Corner, and Van Dyke is going to have his work cut out for him. He's got to close the gap up to Landon Brewer and 820, that MPG Kart Republic, and at the same time, he has to hold off the cavalry behind him, being led right now by Mason Gallion, that Kart 64 Top Kart USA entry. Just behind him, he gets Ryan Moore, teammates to your leader out in front of Landon Brewer on that MPG Kart Republic in P number 4. And then you get Graham Hoffman, Lucian Laser, and Evan Patton in P6 and 7, respectively. There is the battle through that mid-pack all the way through. The two teammates right now, the 812 of Mason Gallion and Grant Hoffman in Kart 5 on the MPG Kart Republic, going back and forth here to see if they can't hold on to that 4th position now. Field starting to get spread out. Landon Brewer almost over a second lead right now to the south side hairpin, and it looks like the closest battle towards the front will be between Van Dyke and Mason Gallion there in that 2nd position. Let's see if we can't take a peek back at that battle on the right-hand side of your screen between Van Dyke Kart 79 and Mason Gallion Kart 64 in that Top Kart USA entry. They were going back and forth up the hill there off camera, not seeing in turn number 1. Mason Gallion wants to waste no time to close back up. Van Dyke a little loose there on exit, and look at that from Gallion. Pops right back up to get a good sweeping arc there to turn 3, loses a little bit of time, and there's a battle right now behind them between Ryan Mort and Grant Hoffman down the back straightaway, and it looks like maybe Van Dyke is pulling out just a little bit farther away from Mason Gallion than Gallion can hold on to right now. There's a little bit of a toe that comes into effect with the KA classes, not as much as you see in the 4-cycle classes with the 206 juniors and the 206 seniors, but ever so slightly you get a toe heading over into the Banks Daytona Corner and going down into turn number 1. There's your top 3 going down towards turn 1 now. That's the battle for 2nd. On the left-hand side of your screen was Kart 79 from Dave Van Dyke, the privateer entry, and right there Kart 64 and P3, Mason Gallion on the Top Kart USA entry. That is the closest battle we have in the front half of the field. The gap between Ryan Morton and Grant Hoffman looked like it opened up a significant amount, as actually I think maybe we have lost the 5 of Grant Hoffman, if I'm not mistaken. No, we did not. He's still on track. He's just way off the pace now of Ryan Moore in P4. The battle for 2nd starting to pick back up. Van Dyke, Kart 79, right there on the right-hand side of your screen, has almost a little bit of a boot to the back bumper for Mason Gallion in Kart 64. Up at the top of the hill and down towards the start-finish straight, heading towards turn number 1 now. Let's see it. Does Gallion have anything to pull out and make a move here? He does not. He stays right in line. And this a little bit of hustle-tussle as we see now. Kart 64, Gallion straight to the inside. They're going to go door-to-door now. Up over to turn 3. Point now to Van Dyke. He's going to sweep a little wide. And here comes Gallion getting a good run. Probably won't try it through the crossover move. While this is going back and forth, look at your 4th placement. Ryan Mort, an 812 MPG Kart Republic, is closing in to the battle for the top 3. And I'll tell you what, the guys in 2nd and 3rd, they need to be careful, because I don't think they're paying attention to what's happening behind them. And if they're not careful, you can see Ryan Mort just slowly creep his way up there, get around both of them, and then find himself on the front row. Down towards turn number 1 again. Van Dyke continuing to hold off over Mason Gallion. Into turn number 1, now over into turn 2. Does Gallion try it like he did last time? No, he stays in line. Still nose to tail-ish. Going over into turn number 3. We're looking at about a minute plus 2 laps to go here for this field. Out in front and way out of picture, Landon Brewer about 2.7 seconds clear of this battle for 2nd. So we're going to focus on this battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. There in 5th spot was Graham Hoffman in Kart 5, just behind him. Lucian Laser in P6. And just behind all of them is Evan Patton in the 7th position. Let's see if we can't get a shot of this battle for the 2nd spot as we make the way towards the top of the hill. We are under a minute to go, so we might get one more lap in, plus 2 laps if Landon Brewer can stay consistent. We're at the 42.9s right now, as now Mason Gallion, is he close enough to make a move again? He got a little wide there on the exit of turn 1. Now he's working the toe of the back bumper of Van Dyke over to turn 3. He gets a little bit of a run, not as close as what he needs to make a move before he gets to the crossover, but he might have something for him on the exit Daytona Corner, because that seems to be a strong point. It's from the exit Daytona all the way up the hill. 2 kart lengths down from your 2nd placement is 64, Mason Gallion. Van Dyke right there in the front of that little pack holding off that 2nd position. Up the hill they go. 2 laps are being shown now to Landon Brewer. So we got 2 laps of battling here for this 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot. Last time by, advantage to Van Dyke. He was about 1/10 better than Mason Gallion P2. Ryan Moore running almost identical times to the second placeman there of Mason Gallian. Out of turn 2 and heading over towards turn 3 now. I think Mason may have his tires overheating because he looks like he's starting to lose time in the faster parts of the track where it puts just a load on your tires. So maybe he overcooked him at the start of the heat race. And now he's just trying to hold on as Van Dyke still holding on to about 2 car lengths advantage over the rest of the field. Landon Brewer last time by, your leader, he went purple, 42.8 over the consistent times of being ran by Van Dyke and company of the 42.0s, and he just went a 42.6. So he is running 0.2 of a lap faster, 0.2 of a second faster than the rest of the field. He's just now being presented with the white flag. He's got about one more time around before he will start on the pole position here for KA100 Junior. Now the battle for third starting to heat up. Mason Gallian has to hold off Ryan Mort. Ryan Mort close on his back bumper through the crossover. There's Van Dyke. Then he get a little bit of a break when he gets to the top cart of Kart 64, Mason Gallian, then the MPG Kart Republic of Ryan Mort. There's your leader into the final couple of quarters. This is Landon Brewer, kart number 20 on the MPG Kart Republic. Up towards the top of the hill to receive the checkered flag. Landon Brewer starts on pole position, and there's the battle, and it looks like off camera that was Ryan Mort able to get around Mason Gallian, so he moves himself up into P3. Mason Gallian falls back into 4th, and Dane Van Dyke in P2. So that will do it for your KA100 Juniors. Up next is going to be the biggest class of the morning and the final heat race of the day. Your 206 Light set to come here live on Kart Chaser. Again, this is Mother's Day weekend here at Whiteland Raceway Park. Thank you guys for tuning in and viewing, and thank everyone here who came out to compete here today. Still more heat races one more heat race, and then the features still yet to come.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes,
Yep.
gloves,
Yep.
rib protectors.
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
we go. This is the biggest event we have this morning, the 206 Senior Light. It is Johnson starting on pole position with Heber on the outside of row 1 and P2. And then that is P4 right there. Car number 78, Jared Howardson with Eli Fox on the inside of P3. Green flag is out down into turn number 1. Looks like advantage to Johnson. He's going to go to the point. Eli Fox has his elbows up there. He's actually going to hold on to that third spot. He's going to go door to door with Howardson over to P3. Howardson's going to open up, let him in, and now he's going to go straight to the back bumper. That's your top 4 right there in P5. I believe that is Dominic Stanco. Or no, that is not. That is Levi Wilbur, cart number 6. Up in that group now. No, that is Stanco. I'm sorry. That is Dominic Stanco in the 717 in the 4th position. A little bit farther on back, there is your top 4. That is cart number 26, Braden Heber, Braden Johnson in P1, Heber P2, Fox P3, Howardson P4, and I am mistaken, that was Levi Wilbur in P number 5 there, cart number 6 on the Chris Worthington entry, rounding out the top 5 pack right now. Down towards turn number 1, and it's all familiar faces towards the front, except for that one in P2. I believe this is the first time he's ran up on front, at least when I've commentated for a while. Braden Heber has finally made his way up to the front of the pack. He is in P2, pushing on the back bumper. Braden Johnson coming out of turn 3. And that's a beautiful shot there of the entire field making their way through the turn 3 and 4 complex, heading down. Now, go your leaders into the south side hairpin. This is probably going to be where most of the passing happens here in the top 4, is into that south side hairpin, or into right here, this inside hairpin. Heber still pushing on the back bumper. Johnson, they still got a little bit of time, about 3 minutes and 40 seconds plus 2 laps to go. The heat races go by way quicker than the features do, so these guys might get a little impatient, trying to make some moves here quick. Your top 2 still nose to tail, and it looked like as well Levi Wilbur giving a bit of a push there to Howardson in that 4th position. So top 5 still relatively nose to tail. But let's take a rundown of what chassis these drivers are on right now. Braden Johnson out in front. He is on an AMAX entry. I think it's Braden Heber on an OTK Privateer. P3, that is Eli Fox on the new Gen Haas chassis. P4 is the in-house made iCart on Team iCart of Jared Howardson. Levi Wilbur on that Chris Worthington Burrell Art in that 5th spot. So 5 different chassis manufacturers out in front. As there went on the inside, Howardson for the 3rd position. He thought about trying to make a move on Fox. Fox closed the door on him. He's tapping the back of his helmet saying, hey, we got to work together if we're going to go towards the front. Levi Wilbur, he's having a peek there for P4 for a moment. He thought about pulling out a line to make a move on Howardson. Not quite close enough to make a move done. And they're going to spread back out. Heading into turn number 1, now they're slowly starting to bunch back up together as they make their way down into turn number 3. Down the back straightaway they go, over into the crossover, heading into the crossover of turns 4 and 5, and now through the banking of turn 6. And I am mistaken, there's a correction. Braden Heber is also on a Chris Worthington as well. He's on the CW Kart there in P2. So 2 teammates up in the front, Heber on a CW as well as Wilbur in P5 on a CW. Out in front, Johnson again on that AMAX, leading the way from the start, heading down towards the start-finish straightaway. I believe he is on a Coyote, heading over into turn number 1. Heber giving a huge push now over into turn number 1. Here comes Fox. He's slowly starting to close back up, and it looks like Wilbur having a little bit of a look there on Howardson. Howardson says nay, nay. He puts his elbows up, holds on the inside line, and so Howardson's going to hold on to that 4th position with now Wilbur falling back into P5 as well. So those 2 are going to have to work together to close back up to now the top 3 that are broken away from the rest of the field. Through that crossover, over into the bank corner. Now to the south side hairpin. Good shot there of the exit of the banked corner now into the south side hairpin. As now let's see if we can't focus on the inside hairpin. There go your top 3. Johnson still holding out in front. Heber in P2. Fox right there in 3rd, and now here comes Howardson and Wilbur. They're slowly making the way back up towards the top 3. Minute to go, plus 2 laps down into turn 1. Looks like everyone's going to stay in line. No one's going to pull out and make a move here. I think the only one close enough to make a move would either be Wilbur on Howardson for P4 or Heber on your leader Johnson for the leads over into turn 3. There's still nose to tail on the exit turn 3 down the back straightaway. And man, Heber giving a huge push to Johnson over through the crossover. Now into the Banks Daytona. Does Heber have enough to make a move on the south side? He thought about it. Johnson opened up the door just a little bit, and that's going to bunch him back up again. So top 5, nose to tail again as we're under a minute to go plus 2 laps. Going to be roughly 40-some seconds to go when they cross the stripes, so they're probably going to get... No, they will not. 40 seconds remain when they cross the stripe, so it's going to be 2 laps to go this next time by. 3 laps remain now. Top 5 still nose to tail, and these drivers, they can play the guessing game of around what time they think it is, but a lot of times they do not try to make a move until they see 2 laps to go up in the air. Over into turn 3, Heber still getting a great run again. So does Fox. Fox gets a good run. He goes straight to the back bumper of Heber. 3-cart train trying to push themselves away from 4th and 5th of Howerton and Wilbur, going through Daytona into the south side hairpin. Anyone open up for a move here? No, they stay in line. Crossovers possibly, not as well. So they're going to go nose to tail up in the inside hairpin now. Johnson still holding on. Here comes Fox. Puts his elbows out. He's up in position. Howerton thought about trying to go 2 for 1, and they're still bunched up nose to tail. 2 laps remain now. Over to turn number 1, and let's see if Pandora's box is open, and it is. Johnson goes on the defensive, trying to hold off Fox. Fox now trying to see if he can't make a move happen. Johnson defending all over the place. Now here comes Howerton. He's got his elbows out, trying to see if he can't get a crossover on Heber now. So they're all nose to tail on the exit of turn 3. Down this back straightaway. Here comes Fox. Side by side through the crossover. Johnson backs off and says, you can have it. I don't trust that. They're now nose to tail. Fox gets a good lead on the exit of Daytona. Heber now trying to see if he can't make a move on Johnson. So Fox with a 2-cart length advantage over the 4 carts running from behind. Heber thinks about making a move. He can't because here comes Howerton. Howerton up into P3 now. He's got 1 between himself and the leader. Down towards the start-finish straight. White flag in air. Fox, I don't think has to defend here. He probably won't. He doesn't. Takes from a racing line. Looks like no one defended there over into turn 1. They're slowly starting to close up with the toe. Here comes Wilbur. He's trying to make a move around Heber for that 4th position. Can't get it done. Fox getting a little bit of a push now from Johnson out of the exit of turn 3. Fox with the 3 or 4 car length advantage on the exit of turn number 3 through the crossover. I don't think he's going to have a whole lot to worry about right now. He's got some breathing room, but I'll tell you what, Howerton needs to be careful there for this 3rd placement. Here comes Johnson. Thought about it. Here comes Heber as well with his teammate Wilbur behind. So they're all nose to tail. Who's going to try to defend? Here comes Johnson, defends the inside hairpin, and they're all going to stay relatively nose to tail. Wilbur maybe trying to make a move, but it's going to be Eli Fox taking the win here this afternoon. Howerton comes across in P2, Johnson P3, and the teammates of Heber and Wilbur finishing in 4th and 5th. Wow, how about that for a heat race and the final heat race of the morning. The next time we see these drivers on track will be for the feature later this afternoon. It is currently 10:44 right now. We're set to go green for the finals at 10:57. So we're going to come back here shortly for the finals. We're going to take a little bit of a quick commercial break, and I'm going to go ahead and relieve myself from my duties here as we're going to come back here shortly, and we will have our features set to go with your 206 Supermasters.
We're at a commercial break.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Here we go for your 206 Supermaster Finals. Your top two, Travis Wilbur on pole position. Jason Ewers on the outside pole in P number 2. Down into turn number 1, green flag is out, and it looks like the point is going to go to Wilbur on the exit, but here comes Jason Ewers. If you recall back to the pre-final earlier today, or the heat race, so to speak, Ewers and McLaughlin were both turning out the same, if not faster times than Wilbur, but due to the fact that they got caught up in that mid-pack, they were way off pace now to make us some time. Now here comes Jason Ewers. He's trying to get to the point quick, goes straight to the back bumper, gives a little bit of a push here now to Travis Wilbur heading over to the Daytona corner. William McLaughlin was also up in that mix as well. He was turning out times just as fast, sometimes even faster than Jason Ewers, and they were both trying to run down Travis Wilbur. He had a 5-second advantage at that point, and it was all for just where they would start in the feature. Now all three of them are bunched up, and we got 10 minutes plus 2 laps of racing here at Whiteland Raceway Park for the features this morning, before we get to the afternoon session. Right now you're watching Jason Ewers in that second spot with Travis Wilbur out in front. And just behind both of them is William McLaughlin, Mr. Top Car USA himself, with Tom Stevens just behind him as they all go through turn number 3 and down towards that back straightaway. 6 karts in total here this afternoon for your 206 Supermasters. Again, 10 minutes plus 2 laps is the distance here for this feature event, all feature events I should say. And up next you got your micros and your middies ran separately, but right now you're watching some good old-fashioned 4-cycle racing with a 206 class, and now Wilbur is slowly getting tracked down by Jason Ewers. They're about to complete lap number 2 this time by. Let's see what times they're doing. Travis Wilbur did a 49.105. Jason Ewers almost identical, 49.129. So very close in lap times. Ewers got the advantage of the toe in his favor. William McLaughlin in P3. Last one, the 49s with a 49.346. Not quite close enough to get a toe off of the top 2. However, if Ewers is able to close up to Travis Wilbur, they start battling back and forth. That could then bring McLaughlin up into the mix as well. So there's a good shot at the Daytona corner. The 3 leaders out in front. Again, this is 206 Supermaster Finals. They're making the way up the hill now towards the inner hairpin as Wilbur makes his way through that inside hairpin, and it looks like slowly but surely Jason Ewers taking about a foot a lap off the gap between himself and Wilbur out in front. Last time by, it looked like Jason Ewers a little bit faster, 48.749. That's nothing compared to P3, 48.641. 1/10 faster McLaughlin was over the 2 out in front, and the gap, almost from my perspective, seems to be visually closing between the top 3 as they're all trying to run down the leader of Travis Wilbur out in front. Wilbur, he took a little peek back going into turn 3 to see what the gap looks like. Right now he's got a lot of breathing room as McLaughlin sitting 1.4 seconds off pace of the leader. Jason Ewers about a half a second back. Like I said before, Ewers slowly but surely making up just a little bit of time. And it's early on in the heat. You don't really need a 10th or 2 a lap. You can get away by just chipping away at that deficit slowly but surely. Get yourself farther and farther in the toe of the kart out in front, and then hope that you can just reel him in the last 5 laps. However, I say that last time by, Travis Wilbur said, you know what, I think I want a fast lap. He went a 48.475. Ewers 48.749. So he lost about 3/10 that last lap to Travis Wilbur out in front. McLaughlin went a 48.902. The deficit actually opened up by about 4/10 between himself and the leader Travis Wilbur, and as well as between himself and Jason Ewers by about 3.5 as well. So top 3 starting to slowly get themselves spaced out overall, looking at about 5 minutes and 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go. And right now, just a matter of us looking at the gaps, looking at the data, trying to see if Ewers is going to have enough to reel in the leader of Travis Wilbur. Coming down towards the start-finish straight now. Wilbur went a 48.460, so he went fastest lap again. Ewers 48.553, so not as close as we saw previously before. William McLaughlin also starting to fall off the pace, 48.899, 2.2 seconds back to the leader of Travis Wilbur, 1.4 seconds back between Jason Ewers. Jason Ewers is now down almost a second out of the pace, 0.8 of a second between himself and the leader. And once you fall to that 1.1 to 1.2 second range, that is when you are really off the pace. You're out of the toe. You just got to hope you can drive fast to the guy in front of you to then be able to catch a toe out in front. out in front. So now we're watching the top two of Wilbur and Ewers coming up the hill. There was your third place from that Top Kart USA of William McLaughlin, Mr. McLaughlin himself, going down into turn number 1. And they're still equally spaced out. Last time by, Travis Wilbur, 48.834. Jason Ewers, 48.824. So 1/100th better than Travis Wilbur that last lap. Again, all you need to do is consistently turn out times or just a little bit faster, chip away at that deficit, get yourself farther into the toe, and you'll be able to make a run later on in the event. Right now, he was sitting at about a 0.88 second deficit, or sorry, 0.82 second deficit. Now it's at a 0.81. And all we're going to do now is just keep monitoring the times, look for any action happening on track. 6 karts in total here for your 206 Supermaster Final. They're all pretty much spaced out right now. So it's going to be a matter of looking at the times and seeing what happens here. Last time by, Travis Wilbur went even faster, 48.553. Jason Ewers went a 48.873, so about 3/10 slower. And McLaughlin went a 49.199. So he's about, McLaughlin that is, about 3.1 seconds off pace of Wilbur. 2 seconds off pace of Ewers. Jason Ewers down to about 1.1 second back from Wilbur. He's about to be out of range of the toe, and that'll be good news for Wilbur because he'll be able to pull away without the toe behind him and set sail and hopefully just hold on just a little bit longer to take the checkered flag later on. Just under 3 minutes to go, plus 2 laps in total here. Again, 9 minutes in total is how long these heat races are, plus 2 laps. It's a same for all classes all the way through. Let's look at the times now. Last time by, Wilbur went a 48.619, Ewers went a 48.969, and William McLaughlin went a 49.326. McLaughlin 3.8 seconds back now from your leader, 2.3 seconds back from Ewers. Ewers 1.4 seconds back from Travis Wilbur out in front. Wilbur doing a fantastic job, leading from the start, dominating this race so far, and turned out now has the fastest lap, so he could go for the complete sweep of the weekend of pole position, fastest lap, and the win if he can stay consistent here just a little bit longer. About under 2 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. There's still plenty of time. We're going to crank it up just a little bit as we watch these guys make their way through, and we're going to listen to the sound of the beautiful 4-cycle engine provided by Briggs & Stratton with the 206. White flag is out, and Travis Wilbur has led every lap so far. He has been purple. He started on pole position, trying to do a clean sweep of the day. Up to the final two corners to receive the checkered flag. Travis Wilbur will take the win here this afternoon for 206 Supermasters. Double hands up in the air, and you can see the excitement in his eyes and that clear visor as he brings home a win this afternoon. Jason Ewers on his return back after taking a little bit of a hiatus from full-time karting, finishing in P2. And Mr. Top Kart USA himself, Willie McLaughlin, comes across in P number 3 to round out your podium. Tom Stevenson comes across in P4, and the battle for P5 between Richard Lowe and Joseph Stevens is going to come to a close, and it's going to go to Richard Stevens in P5. Richard Lowe in P5, Joseph Stevens in P6. So that'll do it for your 206 Supermasters. Up next, it's your micros and your minis, set to take their individual, not combined, individual feature event this afternoon of 9 minutes plus 2 laps. So when we come back, we got more feature racing. We got your micro, we got your mini, then your 206 heavy, followed by KA Junior, then 206 light to wrap things up for the morning session. So stay tuned. We still got more racing coming to you live here on Kart Chaser, and you are watching from Whiteland Raceway Park.
Again, Ewers 48.553, so nice close as the Celtics.
And here we go. Next one up on deck is your micros and minis, set to go green here as they're coming down to the line. Green flag is out, and it looks like it's going to be Reagan Hodgins up in front, and she is going to inherit the lead here from the get-go. A little bit of a challenge there on the inside for the second spot. I believe that was Miles Wilson trying to see if he couldn't keep his elbows out, and now Liette Simonellic is in P number 2. Trying to see, P2, trying to see if it couldn't possibly take a little bit out of that deficit between themselves and your leader of Reagan out in front, as now Reagan has got herself a clear track in front. 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go here, and all she has to do is keep turning consistent times, and just like we saw earlier today from Travis Wilbur, keep the track green, keep yourself clean, and keep going on for the next 8 minutes, 14 seconds, and 2 laps to go. So Reagan out in P1, Liette in P2. Last time by, Reagan already opened up a 1.4 second gap over Liette. Miles Wilson in the 3rd position is a little bit closer to Patrick McNeely than Liette is to Reagan. So that might be the closest battle we're going to watch here this afternoon, as now Reagan opening up even a larger lead, 1.4, continuing to grow so far. And Liette there in P2. Got breathing room on both sides, not close to the leader out in front, but at the same time, huge gap to behind. So Liette could get some good points here in the championship and take home a piece with themselves of getting on that second step of the podium in P number 2. Last time by, Reagan goes purple, 47.757. Liette won a 48.914. Wilson 50.90, and McNeely 50.97 here for your top 4 and the 4 karts out on track. So 2 laps completed so far, 7 minutes to go plus 2 laps. Again, these are 9 minutes plus 2 laps in total here for all the feature racing going forward, except for the Kid Kart program, which is going to get ran in between the morning and afternoon session. Nice little break in the day, and a good break here for everyone else. If you got plans in the afternoon, you can come out and run the morning group. If you got plans in the morning, you can still come out and run in the afternoon. So there on the right-hand side of your screen went Reagan Hodgins, again out in front, and goes quicker again, 47.683, continuing to pump out fast laps. Liette went a 48.013, about 3 seconds back from Reagan out in front, but 4 seconds clear from Patrick McNeely in that 3rd position. So we continue on now to watch. There's Reagan. There's the gap between herself and Liette there in the 2nd position as she makes her way through the Daytona Banked Corner. Liette just now going into the Banked Corner as she makes her way into the south side hairpin. It looks like all 4 spaced out yet again all the way through. So this is going to be, we call it the commentator's curse, because there's not a whole lot to talk about. You can keep monitoring the gaps in between everyone, the different lap times, who's turning what time. As we're looking now about 5 minutes and 40-some seconds plus 2 laps yet to go. As let's take a lap all the way around here at Whiteland Raceway Park in this layout. So we're looking now going into turn number 3. Again, you're watching live with Reagan Hodgins as you make your way to turn 3. A little bit of a different flavors of corner you can take there. You can either go low, middle, high. All have different benefits and cons as you make your way down that back straightaway through that Daytona Banked Corner with a little bit of a bump there on the exit. You can see some karts get a little upset. Nothing too major though. Nothing more than what you'd see at any other racetrack, so to speak. And then you make your way towards that corner right there. That is a south side hairpin. It's a completely banked and uphill corner. You can carry all sorts of speed and momentum and carry your way over to the inner parts of the track. This is the main straightaway. A little bit of a dog leg where you can see what used to be the turn towards turn 1 on the old layout before the expansion. You make your way all the way down that back straightaway towards turn number 1. Then you snake your way over into turns 2, and right there are the fastest sweeping corners we have here at Whiteland Raceway Park, and it shows some fantastic racing, especially when we get to our bigger classes when they can run 2, 3, maybe even 4 wide we've seen sometimes, but plenty of racing, and it puts on a good show all the way through before you make your way back through that Banks corner right there. Let's see if we can't watch it over towards the middle parts of the old school track, so to speak. You get the exit there of the south side hairpin. Again, banked and uphill, you can take a lot more momentum before you make your way up towards a sweeping right-hander, and then it comes down to a little bit of a straight before a hard right-hander of that inside hairpin, up towards the final 2 corners, and back down towards the main straightaway. Keep looking at the lap times here, and Reagan is turning fast lap after fast lap. 47.407 is the fastest she's turned so far. Liette has turned a 47.5, so about a tenth and some change off pace, but still 3.5 seconds back in total. 6.1 seconds ahead of Patrick McNeely in 3rd. Patrick McNeely 5 seconds ahead of Miles Wilson in P3, and Miles Wilson currently 15.0 seconds back from Reagan out in front. So we're going to crank it up here for the next couple of laps. We can sit back and listen to the sound of these 2-cycle engines at full bore here at Whiteland Raceway Park. Again, up next we got your minis. This is your Micro Swift going on now. So we're going to go ahead and go a little radio silent. We're going to crank it up here, and when we come back, we're going to watch the final 2 laps here of this Micro Swift final. to go here for your leader, Reagan Hodgins, out in front, currently sitting at a 3.1 second lead. While we were away on that crank it up session, Liette actually was going a little bit faster, turned fastest lap of a 47.935. However, Reagan played a very smart race at the start, and she has plenty of breathing room. And honestly, it might be she just decided she wanted to take it a little bit easy, save the tires and equipment for the next race going forward, either this afternoon or later on in this season, as she is making her way for the second and final time through the south side hairpin up towards the middle parts of the track. She go. There is car number 40, Liette, in that second position as Reagan makes her way through the inner hairpin up towards the final two corners and across the start-finish straight to see the white flag. One more time to go before Reagan Hodgins will take the checkered flag here for your Micro Swift. Again, this is on Mother's Day weekend here at Whiteland Raceway Park the Saturday before, as she is making her way through turn number 2 now, through that sweeper all the way up to the exit, feeds it up to about the middle parts of the track, opens up, sweeps it through turn number 3, almost clips the curve there. Out of turn 3, down this back straightaway for the final time, over into the crossover corner, a little bit of a chicane before you make your way up the hill to the bank corner, down towards the south side hairpin for the final time. Up the banking she goes towards the hill of the inner hairpin. This is one of the highest points on the track. Up crest of the hill, down into the inner hairpin for the final time, and up to the final two corners. Reagan Hodgins gonna take the win here this afternoon for your Micro Swifts to kick things off this weekend. Liette Simon Ellick comes across in P number 2. Patrick McKinley is the next one to come to the line. Patrick making the way up to the final two corners for the final time, down towards the start-finish straightaway. And there it is. Patrick McNeely comes across in P number 3, rounding out the podium. And Miles Wilson, unfortunately, was not registered after lap number 9, I believe. Miles may have pulled off. So that will do it for your micros. Up next, Mini Swifts set to go live here for their 9 minutes plus 2 laps final race. After that, we get into 4-cycle racing with your 206 heavy. So stay tuned, as you still got more racing coming to you live here on Kart Chaser from Whiteland Raceway Park.
Second lead while we were away on that crank it up session.
Hear this? Yeah. Colin, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth roof sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place, and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
And here we go for your mini Swifts. It is an all MPG Kart Republic lockout in the top 2 rows. It is kart number 11 of Bentley McCain on pole position. Dominic Gaddis outside of row number 1. Green flag is out down into turn number 1. And let's see it. It's a good jump from the outside row. Here comes Dominic Gaddis up onto point. New leader from the get-go. Dominic Gaddis from row number 1 on the outside to P1 over to turn 3. And already under fire is your pole sitter of Bentley McCain, going door to door over now. 3 of the Southside Sweepers. We got one off the track over into the Daytona banking. There they are going back onto the circuit. And I believe that might be, and I think it is, kart number 10 of Will Fetchington, who is set to start in P number 3. And no, I'm mistaken. That's actually Bentley. Bentley McCain went off the track over into Daytona corner, and now all the way back towards the end of the field in P number 5. Will Fetchington is actually in the second spot. Will Feistinger is up into the second spot. Dominic Gaddis continues to lead out in front again. Dominic, after having a good start there on the outside of row number 1, able to get around your pole position, Bentley McCain, and Bentley got their work cut out for them as they're sitting a little bit farther back. They're right behind Casey Hendrickson in the 4th position and not climbing the field as quickly as we thought it would happen here. It's kind of got a little stagnant actually all the way through, and right now it's the Dominic Gaddis show out in front. That kart 714 MPG Kart Republic down towards the start-finish straight now. Puts another lap in the books, lap number 2, and fastest time so far goes to Casey Hendrickson in P4. Casey Hendrickson went purple with a 45.589, currently sitting about 1.6 seconds back from your leader of Dominic Gaddis out in front, as we're looking at 7 minutes and 20-some seconds plus 2 laps still to go. And it looks like now Casey Hendrickson in the appears to be the 4th position, starting to close up on that back bumper of Titus Roberts. So this might be a good battle for the 3rd spot here, the last one on the podium, as they make their way through the south side hairpin. As here's a replay of appears to be the top 4 in line going over through the crossover heading into Daytona. Oh, this is when Gaddis went off the track, so it looked like he just got a little low, dipped a wheel, and the rest of the kart just hooked up on the inside, lost multiple positions, but fell off the pace there. So unfortunate to see for Bentley McCain, but now he's trying to claw his way back up through the field. There's your leader out in front. That is Dominic Gaddis in P1 going through turn 3, and Will Fetchtinger and Titus Roberts and company look like they're all trying to put on a battle here for that 2nd position. Casey Hendrickson, like we said, up in that mix, and Bentley McCain, they're caboosing that pack there, the 4-kart pack for the 2nd position, making their way out of the south side hairpin up towards the inner hairpin now, as Gaddis opening up a decent-sized lead, about a second over the rest of the field, and that might be all that he needs if this 2nd pack continues to battle back and forth here. There goes your leader of Gaddis down into turn number 1. And then there's that battle for the 2nd spot. So that's Fetchinger in P2, Roberts P3, Hendrickson in P4, and just behind Hendrickson is Bentley McCain, who, like we said, started in pole position, had a little off, and now just trying to claw back up and make up lost positions, as Hendrickson there, kart number 2 on that Coyote AMAX Racing entry, got a little loose there heading over out of turn number 3, and just bobbled the pack up just a little bit as we continue to watch here. Fetchinger still leading that 2nd pack. Right behind him, Titus Roberts. And Roberts under fire right now from Hendrickson. Hendrickson looking high, going through that little bit of a climb of the hill before he gets to the inner hairpin. Now setting into P3 of that pack. P number 4 overall, and it looked for a moment that McCain was going to try to make a move on it. Does he try it now? No. Still going to stay in line. So top 4 still nose to tail, as it looked like there too. Titus Roberts had a nose, and then on the inside heading over into turn 3. Stays in line as they're still nose to tail. As here comes McCain. He's got to run at the same time. Here comes Titus Roberts. They're going 2 by 2. For a moment they thought about it. They decided to settle it back down, as McCain had a little bit of run there in Hendrickson, while Roberts had a little bit of a run on Fetchtinger coming out of the turn number 3 complex, heading in over the chicane now, as McCain looks like they're getting a little frustrated there behind Hendrickson, trying just any possible move that they can to make a move around there. Just get one position at a time is all you need, but we're sitting at about 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go, plus 2 laps, as they make their way down into turn number 1. They're all still nose to tail. Let's take a little quick look at the gap between this battle here for the second spot and your leader of Dominic Gaddis. 2.4 seconds cleared of this battle for second as they continue to go back and forth here. That gap continues to open up. And I think Dominic might just be able to check out here. Dominic's doing the fastest lap so far, 45.4 over the, looks like the fastest lap in that second pack is a 45.7. So he's got 0.3 clear per lap, but honestly, he might be able to just set on cruise control here in the next minute and a half or so, as we're looking at about 4 minutes and 20 seconds plus 2 laps. And all Dominic has to do is just plateau right here, let this pack battle themselves out, second on back, and then you got the gap that you need by the time the 2 flags come out in the air indicating 2 laps to go. So we're going to continue to sit and watch this battle for what appears to be P2 and P3 as Fechtinger and Roberts are the 2-pack now in the second and third spot. And then fourth and fifth, McCain and Hendrickson, as it looked like McCain was able to get around Hendrickson there for a moment, but I think Hendrickson was able to get it back. No, that's Dalton Sears closing up in that pack. So McCain able to get around Hendrickson, so Hendrickson back to fifth, McCain up into fourth, and Dalton Sears closing in on that battle in the second pack as well. Just under 3 minutes to go here. Here comes Titus Roberts to the inside into turn 1. Does he have the point? No. Fechtinger closes the gap going into turn 1, and that's going to bobble Roberts' momentum down. That's going to allow Bentley McCain to try to get up on the podium step. McCain now all over the back bumper of Roberts, heading over into turn 3. On the exit of turn 3 on that back straightaway, he's going to be in the toe now. So McCain has got a head of steam, momentum, and is closing in on the back of Roberts. Can he get it done now going into the south side hairpin? No, looks like he was able to recoup after getting the momentum cut off into turn 1. And now Titus Roberts starting to close back up to Fechtinger going into the inner hairpin now. Still nose to tail is your top 2. Will Fechtinger, Titus Roberts in 2 and 3. McCain not too far back in 4th. Hendrickson P5, Dalton Sears up to P5. And Hendrickson in the 6th spot. So now that that's starting to settle out there in that second half of that pack, let's sit and watch these 2 right here on the right-hand side of your screen. Fechtinger trying to hold off Robertson, and Robertson goes wide there on the exit turn 3. And so that's a save there for Will Fechtinger, as now he's got the breathing room that he needs, about 3 car lengths, kind of all you need right now, especially in this mini class. Bentley McCain might see an opportunity to make up one more position to go for a top 3 lockout here for the MPG and Kart Republic crew. Into the inner hairpin they go, and right now it's getting a little stagnant there in that second pack for a moment, because now Titus Roberts is under fire from Bentley McCain. Along with Bentley McCain, he's bringing his teammate, 324 Dalton Sears, also up in that mix as well. So Will Fechtinger is, I think, in a safe zone right now. About 5 or 6 kart length gap between this now 3-kart battle for the last podium step as they go over into turn number 3 down this back straightaway. Looking at about a minute and 13 seconds plus 2 laps to go. Through the crossover now over into the Daytona corner. Roberts still trying to hold on. He's got his elbows out, just defending off all that he can from the 2 teammates of McCain and Sears down towards the inner hairpin. As they make the climb up the hill, crest the hill, come down to that hard right-hander, and just like that, here comes McCain in the toe, and it almost appears that he might be giving a little bit of a push to catch back up to Will going down into turn 1. Over into turn 1, it looks like McCain not making a move, so he might be inadvertently working with Titus Roberts to hold on to a hope of getting up into one more position. If those 2 can keep it just a little tame. The times are a little bit faster than Will's previously, not this last lap. They were roughly the same. Will went a 45.7, Titus went a 45.74, and McCain went a 45.6. So McCain faster than the 2 out in front. But time's about to expire here. We're looking at 29 seconds. Double sticks are up in the air, 2 laps to go. So it's crunch time now for Bentley McCain. You got to get up on that podium step as he tries it here. Goes door to door. And now McCain up one more position. Titus Roberts tried to defend. That's going to put him in the catbird seat. But now Dalton Sears right there. So Dalton Sears might see an opportunity to make up one more position, as Roberts didn't lose a whole lot of momentum. trying it over into 3. Thought about getting the nose down the inside. Couldn't quite get it done. But now that's going to allow Dalton Sears. Licks the stamp, sends up the inside, and gets into the back bumper of Titus Roberts. So Roberts loses one more position, and that is going to push Dalton Sears up into P4. Right now it is a top 4 MPG lockout like we saw in the heat race, as we are now looking at the white flag this time by for your leader, Dominic Gaddis. And I think that incident there that happened with Dalton Sears and Titus Roberts kind of stagnated that middle pack. White flag is out now. Dalton Sears appears to be closing in on Bentley McCain, but I don't think time is his friend right now as they make their way into turn 1. Closes, but probably not enough. Going through turn number 1, maybe an opportunity a little bit later on if they can get a good run out of turn 3. Let's see if we can't switch back up here when your leader goes to the Daytona corner. As Dalton Sears tried it on the inside line. Good gap between the leader and the rest of the field. And let's watch Dominic Gaddis bring it on home. He is now making his way into the south side hairpin, and there he is on the top of your screen. Dominic Gaddis out of the south side hairpin for the final time. Makes the climb up the hill, down to the inner hairpin, and across the start-finish straight. Dominic Gaddis will take the twin checkered flags and the win here this afternoon for your Mini Swift. So Dominic Gaddis brings it home P1. Will Fechtinger comes home P2. Bentley McCain in P3, making it a MPG Kart Republic lockout in the top 3. Dalton Sears comes home P4. Titus Roberts P5, and Kason Hendrickson in P6. So that will do it for your Mini Swift for their feature event this morning. Up next is your 206 Heavy, set to take their 9 minutes plus 2 laps feature event. Then we get back into 2-cycle racing with your KA Junior, followed by your 206 Light.
It's a good jump from the outside rail. Here comes Dominic Gaddis up on going door to door over and out. First stop, I think we're going to one off the track over into Daytona. Yes, sir.
And here we go for your 206 senior heavy final. Evan McCorkadale on pole position on the inside of row number 1, and Troy Toney on the outside of row 1. And P number 2, green flag is out, and it looks like point goes now to McCorkadale. Here comes Matt Geist. He's getting a little bit of a push there from Adam Dietz. Dietz is trying to round out the 4-pack as Troy Toney pops the wheel over the curb, loses some momentum, and they're all packed up over into turn number 3, and that is going to go all to the advantage of your leader, McCorkadale, out in front. Already opening up about a 4 or 5 kart lead. Now leading that second pack and on point is Matt Geist, and then door to door over through the crossover when Adam Dietz and Troy Toney both had elbows out. They didn't want to give anything up. Troy Toney came out on top over Adam Dietz there in the 4th position, and just like that, we got spacing all the way through. Evan McCorkadale's got a 2 kart length advantage over Matt Geist. Matt Geist has got about a 2.5 kart length advantage over Troy Toney in 3rd, and Troy Toney getting reeled in, or sorry, Adam Dietz in 3rd, and then Troy Toney in 3rd, Adam Dietz in 4th. Brian Williams not too far back from there. So the top 2 a little bit spaced out, the rest of the field all bunched up, and I think it's going to be a matter of questioning if Matt Geist can reel in, I should say, Evan McCorkadale for the lead. Last time by, Matt Geist had the faster outlap, 46.794. McCorkadale, McCorkadale the fastest one of 45.8. Matt Geist had the second fastest of 46.7. So that is your outlap so far. Troy Toney starting to set sail and pull away from that second pack, being led now by Adam Dietz in 4th, Troy Toney in 3rd, slowly closing up to the back bumper of Matt Geist there in the 2nd spot. Just behind Adam Dietz is Brian Williams. Williams has been right there in the back bumper of Adam Dietz most weekend so far. He actually came out on top of him in the heat races right now. It looked like Adam Dietz had a little bit of a bobble into turn 1, and Adam Dietz actually has a problem. He is looking down at his car, pulling on his side pod, and just like that, we have lost. We'll see if we can't get a shot of it on the exit of turn number 2 of Adam Dietz. He's working on his kart as he's driving around, way off pace right now, so that is going to shake things up in that mid-pack. Adam Dietz off pace and probably going to pull it off. Unfortunate to see for his day coming to a close, so that is going to now move Williams up into the 4th position. So Williams safely inside the top 5. There's your leader on the screen. That was Evan McCorkadale. Still holding on to about a 1.2 second advantage over Matt Geist and Troy Toney. And need to keep an eye on that 3rd position, Troy Toney. Last time by, he went purple, 1/10 better than your leader, 48.2. Your leader, McCorkadale, went a 48.3. So if he can connect the back bumper of Matt Geist, which he's about to do now, they could push together and work their way to make up that 1.5 second deficit between themselves and your leader, McCorkadale, out in front. We're looking at 6 minutes and 15 seconds plus 2 laps to go. So if they decide to work together now, they will have plenty of time to close it back up. Meanwhile, Brian Williams, he's had a good weekend so far. He's driven a fantastic event all the way through, finds himself in that 4th position, and unfortunate for him, he doesn't have a toe in front and doesn't really have a push from behind, so he's just going to have to hope for battling out in front. He's running consistent. He's staying right there at the same times as the karts out in front, maybe a 10th slower here and there, but relatively very similar times to the 2 out in front. So if he can just keep it consistent right there, he might be able to slowly start to bring it in if the top 3 decide to battle back and forth. So far right now, Troy Toney still went purple again, 48.16. Closest one to him was actually Brian Williams of a 48.209. So Brian Williams, 2nd fastest kart on track. Troy Toney, the fastest. And I believe those are 2 new gen entries here. And you have Matt Geist, a privateer, Evan McCorkadale, a privateer. As I was talking about, Brian Williams, Matt Geist actually got passed by Troy Toney. So Troy Toney, he is hooked up here this afternoon, closing in on McCorkadale. Matt Geist has got the toe from him, but he's got to be careful. Brian Williams is turning faster times than Matt Geist, running about 2/10 faster than Matt Geist, that is. Fastest lap so far, Troy Toney went purple again, 47.8. Your leader, McCorkadale, 48.0. Brian Williams, the 2nd fastest, of a 48.1. Matt Geist went a 48.3. So looks like now it's Brian Williams reeling in on Matt Geist for that 3rd spot. And Matt Geist, I think his tires may have just come in because he's not really losing as much time. He was losing about a half a car length a lap Now it appears that he's keeping it right in that toe and actually even possibly closing in on Troy Tony. So maybe Troy Tony was set up to go a little bit faster here with tire pressures in the earlier half of the race. Matt Geist wanted to come in later, and if he can connect to the back bumper, that gap has stayed about 1.5 seconds between the leader and the second placeman all event so far. As now Troy Tony's time starting to plateau a little bit. Evan McCorkett also picked it back up. He went a 47.919. Troy Tony a 47.951. Matt Geist 47.979. Brian Williams 48.7. So Williams also plateauing as well. So both of the Nugents plateaued about the exact same time, right as McCorkadale and Matt Geist started to pick it up as well. So maybe a difference in theory for how you should set a kart up for this feature event. We're about 3 minutes and 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go. That gap again plateaued at that 1.5 seconds between McCorkadale and the second placeman, even though we've had different second placements all the way through. So if he can just keep it right at that gap, he should be okay going forward, but he can't lose a whole lot of time like he just did then. He lost a 10th to Troy Tony. Troy Tony picked it back up. He went about a 10th faster, as well as Matt Geist, then Evan McCorkadale. Brian Williams kind of plateaued at that 48.1, 48.2. So he's staying consistent where he needs to do, but he's just going to have to hope that either the two battling for the second spot of Troy Tony and Geist start battling it out and he can make up a position or two, or that they're able to close back up to McCorkadale. Granted, they didn't make up an entire lot of time. They made up about 1/10 in total, but if they can just get to that point of either working together and getting the toe from McCorkadale out in front, which is about 8/10 deficit between yourself and the guy in front, then they could have a chance at it here soon. However, time is not in their favor. 3 minutes and 2 laps to go now as they make their way across the stripe. Lap number 8 in the books, as Troy Tony had to peek back to see how close Matt Geist was, and he's right on his bumper. Let's see the times. Matt Geist went fastest that last lap, 47.9. He's in the toe of Troy Tony. Troy Tony actually went a hair slower than McCorkadale. McCorkadale went a .015. Troy Tony went a .030. So roughly 2/100 slower. However, Matt Geist is still faster. Give him a little bit of a push when he needs it. Brian Williams in that 4th position. He's kind of plateaued again at that 48.3. So I think he might not have a chance to close back up even if they start battling out in front. But right now it's a matter of if Geist can push Troy Tony up to McCorkadale. 1.4 is the deficit between the two, looking at 2 minutes to go. And from my perspective right now, it looks like it's closed down just a little bit, maybe about 1.3 and 1.2. 1.29 is the deficit between Troy Tony and Evan McCorkadale. Matt Geist went purple. You want to talk about a kart coming in late? How about in the last minute and a half? 47.835 for Matt Geist, fastest kart on track so far. He's got the toe and he's pushing hard on the back bumper of Troy Tony. They need to be doing about 2/10 per lap if they want to have a chance, if not more, just to get to the toe. Then from that point, they're going to have to hope they can make up about 3/10 a lap onto McCorkadale to be there just in time for the double sticks to be up in the air. So right now we're looking at about a minute and 10 seconds when they make their way across the stripe, or sorry, it'd be right about a minute. So roughly 4 laps to go now. Down towards the start-finish straight. McCorkadale's got his work cut out because I think they're under a second. They're right at a second, 1.095. The gap between Troy Tony and McCorkadale. Troy Tony picked it up, 47.8. Matt Geist right there, 48.0. So they're both running a little bit faster than McCorkadale, just enough to close the gap down. Not quite in the toe, but with 2 laps to go, it's going to be close if they can get there in time. Taking a peek back there to Brian Williams in the 4th spot. He is currently sitting at a 48.3. So again, he's plateaued at the 48.3s, and I think he's not going to be able to make up any positions unless something major happens inside the top 3, which is possible at this point. Up towards the hill and into the inner hairpin for the second and final time. If my math doesn't fail me, it's all down the flagman. Does he call it here? Give him one more lap. He's going to give him one more. When they cross the stripe, 25 seconds and 2 laps to go. So in total, 3 laps remain. Troy Tony goes purple. He went at 47.799. McCorkadale, 47.800. How about that for close times? Right at a second. He's got to hold off a little bit longer. Matt Geist also improved his time. He went at 47.801. So they're both running faster times, just not what they need. So unless they can get right to the draft in this lap, I think it might go to the wayside of Evan McCorkadale through the south side hairpin for the 3rd and final time, up towards the top of the hill. Double sticks will be in the air this time by Up, cresting the hill, into the inner hairpin they go. Troy Toney, man, he's right there. And so is Matt Geist. Double sticks up in the air. If this gap's at about 0.8 of a second, I think they got it. What's it sitting at? 0.878. So it's going to be a close one if they can close up in this lap, and they'll have to get it done next. Matt Geist, he can make or break the race here for Troy Toney. If he decides to start battling now, that's going to call it to be all the wayside of Evan McCorkadale. However, I think he's going to wait this one out to see what happens. Down the back straightaway for the second to final time. Over into the sweeper. They got to be perfect from here all the way to the start-finish straight if they want to have that total advantage the next lap. Through Daytona they go. Looks like Matt Geist, he wants to see this one through. They're closing up now, about 3 kart lengths to your leader of McCorkadale. They crest the hill, coming down the hairpin. McCorkadale locked up the back, and he slid a little too far. You can see him jolt his hands and try to catch it, and now it's about 3 kart lengths across the stripe. You can see Troy Toney up on the wheel. His head is tucked down. Here comes McCorkadale into turn 1. Geist, he's going to wait this one through. Doesn't make it into turn 1, and that gap visually starting to close to your leader out in front. I don't think they're going to have enough time here, but hey, anything can happen. Over to turn 3. They're both sweeping and taking the longer way around to get more momentum. Down the back straightaway they go. Gap last time by was 0.6 of a second, so they made up 2. Over through the crossover, and I think if McCorkadale can keep it clean, he might be able to hold on to it. Out of the bank corner, into the south side hairpin for the final time, and the climb up the hill they go. I don't think it's going to be enough from Troy Toney and Matt Geist. Evan McCorkadale, he got the lead early, he got the gap, and so far he's held off the charge from the back 2, and he will do it all over the checkered. Evan McCorkadale takes the win here for 206 Senior Heavy. Troy Toney comes across in P2. Matt Geist finishing in P3. Brian Williams with a great drive inside the top 5 to finish in 4th. And Kaylor Nicholson comes across in P number 5. So that will do it for our 206 Senior Heavy Final. Up next will be our KA Juniors, followed by 206 Senior Light.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Here we go. Your KA Junior set to go green. Taking him to the point. The 820 of Landon Brewer, the MPG car public to his outside. The privateer, Dane Van Dyke, leads him down into turn number 1. Van Dyke slots straight into P2, and that is going to allow Landon Brewer to set the pace out in front. Mason Gallion has had a good race inside the top 3 as well. He tries to get his elbows out and hold off that 3rd position from Ryan Mort in the 812 MPG, and it looks like he will do so. No, Ryan Mort says nay, nay, and shoots around the outside going into the crossover corner. So now count Ryan Mort up into P3, and Dane Van Dyke, he has been competitive. He has had very similar times to Landon Brewer all weekend long. He just got caught up in traffic in that second pack. He was quick to go straight to the back bumper and make sure that didn't happen this time, and now he's got the field set behind him, and he has got the leader in front of him. Dane Van Dyke for P2, trying to see if he can't take it to Landon Brewer here in this feature event for the KA100 Juniors. Landon Brewer and Van Dyke setting sail from the rest of the field. Van Dyke going aggressive early, had a little peek there into turn 3, decided better of it. Now he's looking on the exit. He is right there on the back bumper of Landon Brewer. Over through the crossover they go, now up through that banked corner, down towards the back straightaway. Does Van Dyke want to try to get the lead early? It looks like he's going to hold on right to that back bumper. Meanwhile, Landon Brewer's teammate, Ryan Mort, he got to the podium spot in P3, but now he's going to have to hold off Mason Gallion and Graham Hoffman. Good news for him, Grant Hoffman is his teammate, so he might be able to put the pressure on Mason Gallion to just try to hold him at bay a little bit longer. But I think those 3 might start to bunch up here, or actually I say that, Ryan Mort's starting to pull away from that battle for the second pack, as now we got a battle for the lead. Van Dyke had a look there on the exit turn 1 onto Landon Brewer, going now into the turn 3 complex, heading down that back straightaway into the crossover of turn 4, and Van Dyke pushing hard on the back bumper of Brewer before they got to the crossover. Has a quick look to the inside, decides better of it. He's going to stay in tow, and he is glued to that back bumper. 7 minutes and 2 laps to go. Still plenty of time here for Van Dyke, and he's got to play it patient. He could try to battle for the lead right now, but that's going to open the door for Ryan Mort, Gallion, and Hoffman to close back up to him. So he's got to play a good balance here. You got to stay consistent, get yourself away from the field, but at the same time, don't try to battle back and forth too hard with the leader and close the rest of the field back up to him. So we're working lap number 4 right now, 6 minutes and 30 seconds out of 9 to go. Down that back straight, over to the crossover. I tell you what, it looks like Van Dyke maybe geared a little bit lower. He gets a good run out of turn 3 and closes the gap hard onto Landon Brewer going into that crossover. I think Landon Brewer set it more toward the tighter parts of the track and the hairpins, because that seems to be where he pulls the gap from Van Dyke in P2. So out of the final corner, down towards the straightaway. Again, this is when Van Dyke slowly starts to close it back up. He loses time coming up the hill, but then closes it back up heading into turn 1, and these sweepers seem to be working for him. Maybe not so much there in turn 2, but out of turn 3 seems to be when he gets his best run. He misses the apex just a little bit, and that's going to hurt him severely. He's going to pull it back up down the straightaway with the toe in the lower gear, if that is the case for him. But then he's going to lose it here in the hairpin, and then from this hairpin all the way up towards the start-finish straight seems to be his Achilles heel right now. Let's switch back over and watch this battle for the 3rd position if we can, being led by the 812 of Ryan Mort and that MPG just behind him. Kart 64, the Top Kart USA entry of Mason Gallion right there as well, keeping him humble. And then Ryan Mort's teammate, Grant Hoffman, another MPG Kart Republic entry in that 4th position. So that's 5th position. That's 3, 4, and 5. As here goes Gallion down on the inside. Does he get the point? Yes, and it looks like he's going to bring Hoffman with him, or attempt to. Hoffman forced to be on the outside, and Ryan Mort puts his elbows out. He takes back over that 4th position as he fell back 1. There go your 2 leaders out in front. That's Brewer and Van Dyke. Then there's that 3-pack battle for the 3rd position. This is the last step on the podium, the last piece you can take home here this morning for this race right now, as Gallion is trying to break up the MPG lockout out in front. They've locked out the top 4 most of the weekend in the mini and this KA junior class as well. But right now he's trying to see if he can't throw a wrench in the plans, as now the 2 teammates are battling. Ryan Mort and Hoffman. Hoffman able to get around Mort, and that's good news for Mason Gallion, but he needs more of that. If he wants to get a little bit of a gap going for himself, he's opening up whatever toe you can get from this KA junior class right now. But the 2 teammates, if they keep going back and forth, that gap will start to form, as you're going to see now the exit. There it is, about 2 kart lengths is what Mason Gullion has to his advantage between Ryan Mort and Hoffman running in tow from behind, as there's a good shot of your leaders. That is Landon Brewer and Dane Van Dyke. Again, Van Dyke also preventing a lockout here from the MPG Kart Republics as well. So the 2 that are not MPG in the top 5 are the ones running in second and third as of now, as Van Dyke was close, but then he lost a little bit as we switch back over here to the battle for now what appears to be the 4th position, because Mason Gullion got about a 2 kart length advantage as of now over both Mort and Hoffman, the 2 teammates battling inside the top 5 for 4th and 5th as they make their way to turn 3. There go your 2 leaders on the right-hand side. That is Brewer and Van Dyke, 1 and 2 still. A little time update, 3 minutes, 45 seconds plus 2 laps still to go. There's the 3 battling for P3. So it's Gullion out in front, kart 64 in that top kart entry. And then you get the 2 MPGs running in 4th and 5th, the 812 of Ryan Mort and Grant Hoffman in kart number 5, rounding out your top 5. Going a little bit farther back, Lewisian Laser currently running in P6, Evan Patton in P7 as of now. So we're going to sit and watch here. This is the battle for P3, the last one on the podium step. Although maybe if we can switch back up front to the battle for the lead, because it looks like Van Dyke is slowly closing in on Brewer going into the south side hairpin, and it's so. Look at that. Van Dyke thought about making a move on the south side hairpin. This is the battle for the lead right now. He's making the climb up the hill. He's closed in onto the back bumper of Landon Brewer. It was down to about a 4 or 5 kart length disadvantage for Van Dyke, but like I said, his strong suit seems to be from the back half of that main straightaway all the way over to the Daytona Banks corner, and I think he knows that now. He's trying to use it to his advantage and just try to hold Landon Brewer at bay. He doesn't want to let him run away too far. He will catch him back up in the faster parts of the track, but when the kart really bogs down to that south side hairpin, up the hill into the inner hairpin is his Achilles heel so far. As there's more battling happen back in that second pack as well. That one starts to stagnate. Apologize to the camera crew. Let's see if we can't switch over again to the battle for that 3rd position with Mason Gullion, kart 64, and then the 2 teammates right there. It looked like maybe it started to settle down a little bit, but for a while off camera, it looked like Graham Hoffman and Ryan Mort were door-to-door and side-by-side going through the crossover, and now, sorry to the camera crew again, because that one started to stagnate, but equal spacing all the way through. Advantage there to Mason Gullion in P3. So let's see if we can't take a peek back over to the battle for the lead. 1 minute and 40 plus 2 laps to go. There they are into turn number 3. So Van Dyke again closes it back up down this back straightaway. I think he's geared just a little bit lower. Gets it down to about a kart length going through the Daytona corner. His best opportunities for a bonsai move into that south side hairpin or to catch him in turns 2 and 3. He's just got to hold on right now because he's at a disadvantage here with gearing coming up the hill. Into the inner hairpin they go. He's down by about a kart length maybe. Up the climb, this is his worst point of the track, and I think he might have a good opportunity into turns 2 and 3 now. Down this front straightaway, he closes him up into turn 1, gets down to about a kart length, maybe even kisses the back bumper a little bit of Brewer out in front. Now into turns 2, and this is a strong point now for Van Dyke. Turn 3, Van Dyke usually rolls more momentum, goes a little bit wide. That's going to hurt him on the front half, but it's going to help him on the back half of the straightaway. Over into the crossover, about a kart length and a half down, gliding over that curve. Beautifully goes Van Dyke. That kart is hooked up perfectly for the fast parts of the track. Gets a little bit lower on the south side hairpin, and his time is about to expire here soon. 35 seconds remain now. Goes down to the flagman's call, under 30 seconds. If he wants to throw it, if he's going to wait, I think he's going to wait this one out, and he is. 3 laps remain. Can Van Dyke, who just went purple last lap, throw a wrench in the plans for the MPG garage? Can a privateer take the lead? He's looking on the inside. They're side-by-side out of turn 2, over to turn 3. Van Dyke's got the outside point, but he's going to have the advantage going down the back straightaway. Tries for that crossover move. Gets to the back bumper. Gets up right, giving him a good push now over through the crossover. He might have an opportunity here into the south side hairpin. There goes Landon Brewer to defend. Brewer defend the inside line. Yep, there's a good battle there for 3rd, but maybe if we can just keep looking at the battle for the lead right now, because this one's getting a little close here. There it is on the right-hand side of your screen. Landon Brewer holding off Van Dyke. 2 laps to go this time by across the stripe. Down into turn 1. Landon Brewer, does he go on the defensive? He does. Opportunity for a crossover from Van Dyke. He tries it, couldn't get it done then. He's trying to set him up for another one over to turn 3. So he's going to pop out wide here, take the wide entry, and then he's going to cut it close on the exit, and they're door to door through the crossover. Does Van Dyke have it? Yes, he does. New leader, Dane Van Dyke through the Daytona corner. Now this goes to the advantage of Landon Brewer. He's sat. He doesn't quite know exactly when Van Dyke is faster, but if he took a peek back, he might be able to see that he's faster in slower parts of the track. Van Dyke knows that. He goes on the defensive. Now Landon Brewer up the hill has the advantage. Onto the back bumper. Down towards the line. White flag in air. Can Van Dyke get the first win of the 2024 season for himself? He defends down into turn 1. Landon Brewer is going to try to set up that crossover move. Van Dyke defends again. He's going to sweep wide, but he's going to hold that inside line. Here comes Brewer working that outside. Van Dyke tries to defend it, and Landon Brewer doesn't have enough here. He's closing up with the draft. Now over through the crossover. Bumper to bumper they go through the Daytona. Van Dyke's going to have to defend. He knows it. Goes straight to that inside line. Landon Brewer tries to set him up for a crossover. Only gets to the bumper, and Van Dyke's going to have it. Last opportunity for a pass. Landon Brewer tries it door to door, and I think that's going to be it. Landon Brewer with a hard-fought race in the final couple of laps takes the win here for K100 Jr. Dane Van Dyke did a phenomenal job of closing back up and going back and forth with Landon Brewer, finishes in P2, and Ryan Mort rounds it out in P3. So MPG Car Republic got a 1-3. Privateer Dane Van Dyke coming on to P2. P4 for Grant Hoffman. Mason Gallion rounding out the top 5 there. Or sorry, Lucian Laser. Something may have happened to Gallion because I don't really see him on track right now. He's registered in P6. Lucian Laser P5. Evan Patton in P6. Let's see maybe if we have a couple of replays of what happened there so we can talk through what happened the final closing laps, because that was a fantastic run for both Landon Brewer and Dane Van Dyke. A lot of respect between the two drivers. Very smart race between the two of them as well. And shocked up here with how good that racing was. So there's the replay that we saw there. That was when Van Dyke on the outside row went straight to the back bumper. He didn't want to get caught up like he did before. That was a good battle that we had going on between Gallion and the two MPGs, and that was the move right there that set things off. That was when Van Dyke put his elbows out. He forced Mort to the inside. Mort knew it. He swept wide. Van Dyke tried it for the crossover, but he learned a lot from that one. You're going to see that here. He swept really far wide, got straight to the side-by-side with him, and then through the crossover, kind of forced Mort to have to yield and give him the spot. And then right here, the last-ditch effort, Mort able to hold on the position and take it away from Dane Van Dyke. Fantastic racing from those two young men. I know they both have a bright future in karting as well. So that did it for our K100 Junior. Up next, your 206 Senior set to take the feature for their 9 minutes plus 2 laps feature event. So when we come back, that is going to be the last feature of the morning before we move on to the Kid Kart program, followed by the afternoon session.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
So we're about to go green here for your 206 senior light, and I believe that may be Dominic Stancombe that had a little bit of an issue. That is the 717 of Dominic Stancombe had to get refired, and I believe he's right back in his original starting spot. He was set to go out in P9, and after a small little incident, he is now able to pick it up and go underway. So we're set to go green here. Eli Fox on pole position on the inside of row number 1. Jared Howerton on the outside of row 1 and P2. And let's see it as they look for the green, and they get it down into turn number 1. Eli Fox trying to roll the inside line. Howerton has his elbows out. He's trying to go for the lead early. Over to turn 1. There it is. Howerton's got the point for the first time this weekend. Eli Fox to his back bumper. Meanwhile, a little bit farther back, car 8 there, Brandon Heber. He had to battle for that position. He's got to settle into P4 as Brady Johnson on that Coyote AMAX settles into the 3rd position. So the top 2 now, nose to tail. You got a homemade iCar in-house from the Howerton brothers, currently in P1. Eli Fox on the Nugent Haas chassis in P2. Then that AMAX Coyote P3. And then the CW Burrell Art in P4. Another CW Burrell Art in P5 of Levi Wilbur. So that is your top 5 right now. A little bit farther back, Kyle Landon in cart number 2. Set there. I believe he is on a top card, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've been here, so I'm trying to re-memorize everyone's chassis as door-to-door goes for P3. Heber had his elbows out. He was trying to take the point away from Braden Johnson. Johnson was having none of it. He holds on to P3. So the top 2 opening up about a 3-car length advantage over the 3rd placement of Howerton and Fox. I'll tell you what, these 2 are friends off track, on track. They're pretty respectful to each other. They both know that they want to be leading it, and I think Eli Fox is going to be content to follow him and just get enough breathing room between themselves and Braden Johnson, who's been fast all day long, along with Heber, and they're trying to get as much breathing room as they can, which honestly, I don't think they're going to get it right now, because it looks like Johnson, Heber, and Wilbur are starting to settle in right now and work together. There was Braden Johnson, had his hand up in the air pointing forward saying, hey, I think we can catch these guys. We just got to keep it clean here for the first half of the race. It looks like this time by, Heber does not make a move, and just like that, top 4 all equally spaced right now, almost nose to tail through turns 2, heading over into turn 3 right now. Fox glued to the back bumper of Jared Howerton going down the back straightaway now over to the crossover. There is your top 4 in question. Levi Wilbur and that CW Burrell Art. He's fallen off pace just a little bit from the top 4. His teammate is up the road there in that 4th position of Braden Heber, so I'm sure he'd love to catch back up to him and maybe work with him to get through the traffic. But right now, we're just going to sit back and watch these top 4 put on a good show for us. We're looking at about 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Howerton leading the way through the final corner down the start-finish straight, and I think they're going to be very content this top 4 is to stay in line. I think Heber willing to work with Johnson there out in front in 3rd, just to get separation from the rest of the field and stay up with the top 2. They don't want them running away. And I think given the opportunity, those 2 are content staying nose to tail, both Howerton and Fox, that is, try to gap themselves away from the rest of the field. So right now we got a 2x2 pack out in front, little bit of separation between Fox and Johnson, roughly about a cart length, maybe a half a cart length, not a whole lot to speak of. So top 4 now starting to gap themselves slowly away from Levi Wilbur. Last time by, Wilbur was out 1/10 slower than the rest of the field. Fastest car on track right now was Braden Johnson, and he'd use that to his advantage. He just got around Eli Fox, so now Johnson has broken up the 2 pair, and Fox, let's see if he's content with pushing for 3rd or if he wants a position back. He wants it back. He goes to the inside, goes back up to P2. This could be good news for Howerton out in front. If both Johnson and Fox want to lead that 2nd pack, then Howerton might get enough breathing room that he needs to pull away from the field. There goes Heber. He wants to get on the action. He tried it, couldn't quite get it done, so he's going to settle into 4th. Now here comes Wilbur up the inside, and oh, Heber drops the wheel. Levi Wilbur gets a little loose. The 2 teammates are all going back and forth with each other. That's going to allow Kyle Landon now to close back up in that field. So Landon got to split the 2 teammates. Levi Wilbur didn't lose a whole lot of momentum through that side-by-side crossover action, and he's in top 4 now. But Braden Johnson takes a peek back, and his pushing partner is now gone. He's just going to have to rely on the tow from the top 2, and I think he's going to have to hope that maybe Wilbur can catch back up to give a little bit of a push there. But now the top 2 in front Howerton and Fox, I think this is just what they wanted. They got separation from the pack behind. It's just them two out in front. They're both probably more than content to wait until the final couple of laps before they start to battle back and forth. So look for these two to try to set sail. Although Johnson, I think he might get a little bit of help here from Levi Wilbur, unless Wilbur wants to take the spot back and go straight to P3. But if they can connect, they might be able to work together and either maintain the gap that they have or take a little bit away from the top two out in front. We are under 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes and 50 seconds plus 2 laps. Down the start-finish straight, and you can see Johnson with his hand in the air, pointing forward, saying, we got to go now. This is our opportunity. If they wait too much longer, they're going to run out of time in real estate and have too much to make up for here in the closing half of the race. So Fox still pushing on the back bumper of Howerton coming out of turn 3. The gap right now is about a second between Eli Fox and Braden Johnson. He's roughly about 8/10 down. Last time by, fastest kart on track was Howerton. Second fastest was Fox. And then the third fastest went to Levi Wilbur in fourth. Wilbur running significantly faster times than Braden Johnson, about 3/10 faster, so to speak. He does have the toe. Now he's giving a little bit of a push. So the only way that can keep this four-kart battle is if Wilbur and Johnson are able to turn faster times out in front. But as of last time by, both Howerton and Fox were the only ones to go in the 46. 46.8 for Howerton, 46.9 for Fox. Johnson 47 flat, Wilbur 47 flat. So they're going to need a lot more to pick it up here if they want a chance to have a four-car battle for the lead. 1.1 seconds is now the gap between Fox and Johnson. That is clear out of the range of toe. Fox took a peek back coming out of turn 3, saw the gap, and I think he's going to be content to sit here until he sees double sticks in the air to try to keep that gap as large as possible. So this time by, we're going to be under 3 minutes to go. Roughly 2 minutes and 59 seconds when across the line, plus 2 laps, as we are 6 minutes and 15 seconds in at the stripe. Down they go towards old turn 1, now towards new turn 1, down that front straightaway. Let's look at the gap now. 47.0, 47.0 for Howerton and Fox. 47.3 for Wilbur, who made his way up to third. Johnson, 47.7. Heber, 47.0. So Heber close to times with the top two, but he's got so much real estate and a couple karts to get around before he can even get there. So that 3-pack there that you can see on the right-hand side of your screen behind the leaders, I think might be all that prevents them from closing back up to the front pack unless something major happens and Fox decides he wants to go early and get a position from Howerton, but I don't think that's going to happen. Both these two know how each one operates. They both know that they're fairly stubborn when it comes to wanting to be out in front. However, they're both willing to play it smart if it's someone that they trust in front of them to keep ensure that the rest of the field does not close up to them. So down they go towards turn number 2, heading over to 3 now. Howerton still out in front, Fox right there in wake, and then a large gap between the rest of the field. 1 minute and 40 seconds remain, and I think it's going to be about 4 laps in total before they get to the checkered flag. So there's that 3-pack we're talking about. That is Wilbur leading it, and that's CW Burrell Art. Johnson, the Coyote, Amax, and P2. P3 is another CW, Burrell Art, and Brandon Heber. So 2 teammates split right now between Braden Johnson and that second pack. We're going to keep an eye on that front pack out in front. The privateer, here he goes. Fox able to get around Howerton now, coming towards start-finish straight as we're just at 1 minute 30 seconds to go. Actually, just under a minute, I should say. So now they're going to swap places and see if this is going to work for him. Fox wants to lead with 2 laps to go. I think Howerton's going to be content to stay right here until he sees double sticks in the air. They have a good gap right now. They could start battling, but it'd be close for that second pack to close back up to him. Under a minute now, 53 seconds remain, so I think it's going to be 3 laps to go. They get to the stripe. Down the back straightaway, over to the crossover. Howerton not making any suggestions like he's going to make a move. Continues to push on the back bumper of Fox, and they're going to stay that way to the south side hairpin. 40 seconds to go. Again, this goes down under 30 seconds to the call of the flag marshal, and I think he's going to let this one go. He does not have the flags in hand. So yes, we're going to get 3 laps remaining now. 30 seconds across the stripe. 2 laps to go next time by. Does Howerton try to take it here? Looks like no. He's going to keep pushing on the back bumper of Fox. They got about a 1.7 second advantage over your third placeman right now of Levi Wilbur on that CW Burrell Art. Heber, also a little update in that second pack, was able to get around Brandon Johnson going into turn 1. So the 2 CW Burrell Arts currently set in 3rd and 4th, although I'm sure Johnson is going to probably try to make a move here on Heber in the closing parts of this race. Let's switch back up to leaders and watch them all the way through. It's about to be double sticks in the air. Howerton pushing on the back bumper of Fox, the in-house homemade iCart based here in Indianapolis, Indiana, currently set in P2. And here he goes on the inside. He takes the point. Fox is going to stay right in tow. Double sticks about to be in the air. Howerton takes a peek back to see how close the gap is between themselves and the rest of the field. And let's see, does he defend here? He takes from a racing line. So does Fox. Very mature on both of their parts, as now Heber tries to go door to door with Wilbur, so that's going to break the pack up again. So it's going to be all the Howerton and Fox show. Over into turn 3. There's still nose to tail. Fox might have an opportunity to make a run here, decides better of it. He stays in line. Through the Daytona corner they go, over into the south side. This is a great passing opportunity. Does Fox take it here? He does not, and it looks like Howerton did not defend either. Coming up now onto the white flag. One more lap to go at the stripe. Fox, does he take in the inner hairpin? No, that seems to be Howerton's favorite passing point, though, so we're going to keep that one in the back of the mind and see it when it comes down to the closing lap here. White flag in the air down towards turn number 1. Here comes Fox on the inside. Howerton knows it. He defends a little bit. He holds him off for now. Does he defend into turn 2? Goes a little low, but nothing too shocking for us as he makes his way through now over the entry of turn 3. Fox sees the door open. He tries it here. Howerton tries to get right back into line. Can't do an over-under. He stays in tow, and I think he might wait till the last corner. It seems to be his favorite passing opportunity. Inside hairpin. Through the baking they go. Fox defends. Howerton on the outside. Tries for the crossover. Straight to the back bumper. And let's see it. Can Howerton pull his favorite move? Up the hill. He's got to run. Fox defends. Howerton goes wide. Tries for a crossover. I don't think it's going to be enough. Possible photo finish. He's on the outside. Is he close enough? I think not. Fox is going to take it here this afternoon for 206 Senior Light. Howerton comes home P2, Levi Wilbur P3, Johnson in P4, and Braden Heber rounds out the field in P number 5. So that will do it for our feature races this morning. We're going to come back with the Kid Kart program once we get done here. So the Kid Kart program will start. After the Kid Kart program, we will then go into our afternoon session, starting with 206 Cadet Sportsmen.
Fox trying to roll the inside line. Howerton has his elbows out. He's trying to go for the lead early. Over to turn 1. There it is. Howerton got the point for the first time this weekend. Eli Fox for the top 2. Opening up about 3 trucks advantage over the third placement of Howerton and Fox. I'll tell you what, these two are friends. Get right back in the line, can't do it over under. We're at a commercial break.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're gonna need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com? They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes,
Yep,
gloves,
yep,
rib protectors.
got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.